You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Oh, it's good to be back.
To it. Throw, and it's intercepted. It's picked off at about the 20-yard line. Terrell Bernard with the huge interception.
Yeah, I thought I was in rhythm and timing of the play. Seeing the flat defender go over the top of Jalen. Jalen's turning around. I think that was a really good play by the defender.
Hey, no shit. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Football Friday here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. What do you think was going to happen? Just one of the most unbelievable telegraph passes at the end. The highlight for the Miami Dolphins, I think 10 of 15 on third down, but another L, 0-3, and Stephen Ross, by all reports, doesn't seem like gives a damn. Going to keep Charlie Brown on. Good morning, everybody. We got an awesome show lined up for you today. Guests galore, lots of football, and more football. A little bit of baseball in there, even a little bit of hockey in there as well, because exhibition season begins this weekend. I love my pigskin picks. Jay Flanley's going to join me at 8:05 talking some college football. Mick Colaggio at 8:30 will discuss a little Bruins and NHL just for a few minutes this morning. Then I'll have my pigskin picks at 8:45. John Meter-Perrell. Some big news out of the ACC yesterday. We're going to hear also from Dan Radakovich, the Miami AD, talking on the ACC network yesterday about some schedule changes coming up, and I think for the good for all teams in the ACC, and Meter-Perrell to be play-by-play voice of the BC Eagles and the ACC network. He will join us at 9 o'clock. Gabe Morency at 9:30 as well. Sports Rage with his pigskin picks. But man, oh man, good morning. How are you? We got a lot to discuss. And also, I am baffled, and we welcome in Angel Martinez this morning already up in Tampa. I am baffled by some, and I think it's a small minority, but nevertheless, the people out there, those of you, when the story broke yesterday, not big breaking news, but the fact that the guest picker for tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, I should say, when College Game Day comes to Coral Gables and before the Hurricanes, the fourth-ranked Hurricanes take on the Gators, Matthew Tkachuk was announced yesterday, yes, from the Florida Panthers, to be the guest speaker. The guest picker, I should say. And I cannot tell you the ridiculous outrage by some of you on social media. Wait till you read the comments. Look, the guest picker doesn't have to necessarily be an alum. It's usually somebody in the area. Yes, sometimes it's an alum. Sometimes it's not even an athlete. It's an actor or an actress or somebody like that. I think it's great for the Florida Panthers. It's great for It's great for hockey. It's great for hockey in general. I'm a big hockey guy. I think it's fantastic. People are like, where's Ed Reed? Where's Dana White? Where's Sylvester Stallone? Where's this person or that person? Where's Warren Sapp? They've all been done before. Those guys are always at the game anyway, and not taking anything away from them. They've done that before, all that stuff. You know, where's The Rock? Where's Dwayne Johnson? Why doesn't he do? They've all done that before. I think this is great. In the moment, you got the back-to-back Stanley Cup champion forward coming on, Matthew Tkachuk to make the pick. I think it's great. I actually thought if they were going to do it, I didn't even think of them yesterday to do that. I think it's great. And I'm sure he knows it's college football. Maybe Paul Maurice, the head coach, would have been more flamboyant, but maybe he doesn't know enough about college football. Maybe they asked him and he turned it down. Maybe they asked others and they turned it down. All I know is this is great. Angel, somebody put out there yesterday, they should have put Ray Liotta out there. Ray Liotta's dead. He's not here. He's not here. And it's just like, and they were serious. They had a list of people. He was one of them. I'm like, he's not here. Loved them in the end. But I mean, I cannot. You usually don't get outraged like this for the guest picker. But some of you Hurricane fans, take a fucking chill pill. Fucking the love of God. Some of these, it's just amazing. I guess they don't watch the rest of the guest pickers every single week, and maybe it's because it's only the first time in about 8 years that game day has been here for the Miami, Florida game. By the way, more from the Pat McAfee show on that coming up a little bit later on. But let me just read you a couple of these, Angel. You know, from yesterday when I posted back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, guest picker. Can't wait to have Matthew Tkachuk join us in Miami this Saturday. That was put out by Game Day. This guy, Timmy Johnson. Are you kidding me? Who the fuck even is this? You could have picked Alex Earl. I don't know who that is. Abella Danger. I don't know who that is. Kristen Too Sweet or anyone else be world famous, or Dana White or a former Hall of Famer. You pick a hockey player. Then you have, that's insane, especially with all-time great alumni players from the U. They've all been there. They're all on the field. They're going to be there anyway. Kyle, this is so bad. What an awful decision by ESPN. I'm sure this guy is great and all, but there's no connection to the school whatsoever. You don't have to have a connection to the particular school, no matter where you are. It is about the moment. It's about the moment. Then you say, Ball Don't Lie says he must chug Lord Stanley with the pick segment. Yeah, I hope he brings the Stanley Cup. That would be pretty cool if he did. I'm expecting it. Another guy says, Miami Faithful. These are the Twitter names. Here goes Miami, LOL, SMH. How far you guys have fallen. Sure, he won a chip, embraced Miami, but Jimmy Johnson, Irvin, Reed, Edge, Andre Lewis, Reggie, Zoe. He names all. That's all been done. This is embrace the moment. My God. That's the guy. Tweets out Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Sylvester Stallone, Ray Liotta, Enrique Iglesias, Gloria Estefan. Unbelievable. Then some guy says, why is everyone hating on this? The Panthers have been putting South Florida on the map for the hockey world. This is a great way to show love for the fellow South Florida teams. Yeah. And there's more like that. There's a lot of positive ones, but the people that are like outraged, my God, get over it. This is great. And I think it's great for the NHL. And I hope Tkachuk brings the Stanley Cup. That'll be a lot of fun. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine McAfee standing on the chair with the Stanley Cup, holding it up, hoping to God he doesn't fall and break his neck like he almost did last week when he did it? But it's great. It's great for the sport. You know, it's great for the NHL. And it's why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have somebody from the Florida Panthers? They've been to the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row. They won it twice.
That's because Florida, South Florida tends to forget. The problem is you become a little spoiled, and then all of a sudden it's a bad thing to have a hockey player up there. No, you're right, because they should be showcasing the Florida Panthers. 4 out of the 5 seasons, Lord Stanley has been here in Florida. So embrace it, folks, because it could be a great possibility. The Panthers could possibly do it back to back to back. Almost really impossible to do in the NHL. I'm not saying it can be done, but why not? And to pick, what would Enrique know? No offense to Enrique, great artist, but what would Enrique know?
I don't know. And I don't know how much Matthew Tkachuk, and I think Matthew Tkachuk at one point actually had committed to Notre Dame. I'm not to play hockey. I can't remember. I don't have his whole bio here in front of me, but I don't care. It could have been anybody from the Florida Panthers. I think it's great. All those people, all those stars, Sylvester Stallone, Gloria stuff, they're all fine. But this is current. I'm very real. I can't believe I have to say this. I got to give Game Day credit for thinking a little bit outside. This is the first hockey player ever to be a guest picker. I think that's fantastic.
Sure is.
I think it's fantastic. If it was from some chick from the WNBA that was in South Florida, everybody would be, of course. Now they get a hockey player. Oh, by the way, do you know the WNBA playoffs are going around? I guess.
Yeah.
I guess the Fever won a game, and without Caitlin Clark, and they won a series. I don't know. I don't keep track.
After that whole controversy this season, everything has tanked for the WNBA.
I just, I don't know how you get any viewers when your games are on at 1:00 in the afternoon on Sunday. So I just, going up against the NFL. But anyway, we don't care about that. I don't care about the WNBA. I care about college football and the NFL, Major League Baseball. Clayton Kershaw is going to retire at the end of this season as well. Red Sox lost another shitty game yesterday because they can't hit with runners in scoring position. Boy, it's getting real close in the American League wild card race. But we're going to focus on mostly football today. Last night's game, A lot closer. They didn't cover. Buffalo did not cover, so I start 0-1. I'll have my pigskin picks at 8:45 this morning, right after we talk to Mick at 8:30, and Gabe will have his at 9:30. But 0-1 to start the week. I'll go over all of my picks from last week, or just give you the record and all that stuff. Had a great week 1. Had a underwhelming week 2, and now we're going to bounce back in week 3. But last night, as you heard, as I opened the show, Terrell Bernard diagnosed to play immediately as soon as Tua dropped back. It was a horrible interception by Tua Tagovailoa with the game on the line. The Dolphins threatening to tie the score with 3 minutes left, and then Bernard bolted to his left, stepped right in front of Waddle, picked the ball off. I thought it was going to be a pick 6, and then it ended up being then there was a horrible roughing the punter call for Miami as well in this one, which we'll get to in that. And Buffalo wins a 31-21 game. Pretty entertaining game last night. The Dolphins showed up. They took a lead, 7-0. They marched right down the field at first. I mean, there is some pride in some of these guys in the NFL, but in the end, they're 0-3. And the unbelievable part is during the game, or before the game, there are several reports out there. We'll play one that Stephen Ross just doesn't get it. He's just going to let this guy, because he's so caught up in sentimentality. He does not want to fire anybody. He doesn't want to let the coach go. I think it's a gigantic mistake. And Angel, if we could scroll down to Finn's Extra and Ian Rappaport on Mike McDaniel's job security. This was before the game last night on NFL on Prime.
Hey, before we get to the video, one thing I wanted to point out: did you happen to catch when Al Michaels said first down for Pittsburgh?
Yeah. yeah. It happens. You know, it happens. But there was another awkward moment there before you play that, and I have that cut too. There was an awkward moment, and you'll hear Al Michaels, and he got a little frazzled, which he usually doesn't. But there was a point where Amazon went straight from commercials to talking about Tyreek Hill allegedly abusing his now ex-wife, and this was with 28-21 Buffalo in the second half. In the fourth quarter, with 17-17 to go. It was just an odd time to all of a sudden be talking about that. But here's pregame. Here's Ian Rappaport. This is before Miami's loss that put them at 0-3.
Network insider Ian Rappaport. Ian, we're just 2 games into this season, but head coach Mike McDaniel is already facing mounting pressure. What are you hearing about his job security?
Oh, great. I'm the downer. All right. First, the important part. Stephen Ross, the Dolphins owner, does not want to fire Mike McDaniel. He doesn't. He wants this to work. He likes him. He believes in him. He has invested in him, including him a contract extension last year. Still has 2 years, about $19 million left after this year. And whenever he has had to, whenever possible, he has been patient. My sense is nothing is imminent for the Dolphins on that front. However, there's a caveat. That can change. If fans suddenly stop showing up to the stadium or players stop playing for him, that can alter the situation.
Ian, you're never a downer. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Network insider Ian Rappaport.
It's not that people aren't going to show up. The opposing fans are going to be there. Did you hear all the Patriot fans at that game? Does he not know? He's got to know all the people that sold their season tickets last week that was out there. It was unbelievable. You could have gone and sat in a luxury box last week for $90 or $95. And if you lived within a 5 or I think a 10-mile radius of the stadium, you got offered a ride home as well. I mean, that's where we're at. There were more Patriot fans there last week than Miami fans.
Yep.
Than Miami Dolphin fans, I should say. Rick says, good morning. Good news from Miami. They are at home against the winless Jets, so it should be a barn burner. Again, it'll be all Jets fans there. There's going to be all Jets fans there. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous. And I don't know how Stephen Ross doesn't see this. You get caught. I don't know how owners. It happened with the Giants. It's happened to a degree with the Patriots sometimes, some others. You get caught in sentimentality. You're done. You're done. And the Miami Dolphins, they don't get it. Stephen Ross just doesn't get it. You're 0-3. You're going nowhere. And then when are you going to? What is this plateau? We're going to be what? 1-5, 1-6, 0-5. You're going to wait till the Brazil game or the Spain game. You know, when they take on, what are they playing? Washington, I think, in Spain, Madrid. You're going to wait for that? I mean, I'm hearing all these ridiculous theories because Stephen Ross thinks Charlie Brown is a nice guy. It's not working. The whole thing isn't working. You get that. That's what you get. Let's go and more video. Let's hear from Tua on the team's mindset going into the game and then starting the season 0-3. It's right under what you just played. Thanks, Andrew.
Yep. No worries. And here we go.
I wouldn't say there was an emphasis to prove anything to anyone. I would say there was I guess emotion of wanting to get this thing right for each other, right? Offensively, defensively, and then in special teams. I think the biggest thing as we, kind of looked at this game is when the defense gives us those opportunities to go and score, like we gotta go and put points on the board, and vice versa. When we get it going, defense help us out with a stop so that we continue to keep this momentum, and then special teams as well. That's kind of what you said with special teams, kind of alluding to the to like our flow, on that first drive offensively. I wouldn't say there.
Is it me, or is he morphing into some sort of Mike McDaniel? I think Mike McDaniel is using either a Jedi mind trick or a somewhat Vulcan mind meld, which you really, to do the Vulcan mind meld, you have to be, to get a full sense, you have to be in physical contact. Spock would have to be in physical contact. But he could also, and I've seen a couple episodes where he was kind of like about 50 feet away behind a wall, and he would put his hands up against the wall, and he could channel somebody to, either open the door or look the other way while people from the Enterprise escaped whatever debacle they were in. I think that's happened here. I really do. It has to, because he is sounding like his coach.
Yep.
Speaking of the coach, Charlie Brown, let's scroll one down from that. Here's Mike McDaniel on starting 0-3.
Jesus.
He's focused, though. He's very focused.
Yeah, I would say that it's frustration that turns to focus. I would say that I'm very focused and motivated to continue eliminating things that cost us games. And you have a young team, a lot of people that you're counting on, and you need them to not be young for very much longer and continue to grow. But I would say focus, because I know I have a locker room that is all in to grow through the process, and that's there's some tough lessons or tough things you have to deal with in the National Football League, and to be successful in it, you have to not have things. I say it all the time, but you can't have things just cause you failure and it be in vain. You have to have consistent growth, and you have to be able to go through tough times and not splinter. And so the team has shown me that, and we'll need that to get the results that we want. And I think that's the biggest thing is a collective focus on our game to continue to improve it so that we can be on the right side of the win column.
OMG. Honest to God. Every time you think it can't get worse, it does. We have more, though, because you can't get enough of this, right? So let's scroll down a little bit. A couple under Waddle. We'll get to him. Also on Finn's Extra, Mike McDaniel on Tua's game-sealing interception. Listen to these words of wisdom.
All right.
It's about 5 fortune cookie messages in this.
I wanted to protect the ball. I wish I could, I think the quarterback has to be responsible for it. However, I wish I could just put it on him, but I think it's a tough job to do when there's someone in your face. We need everybody needs to do better, and we can't, if you got to ditch the ball to the flat in moments like that, and that's what we have to learn from. I wanted
That play was all on Tua. All on Tua. Terrell Bernard jumped the route immediately, knew exactly what was going on. That was all on Tua. No question about it. And then, okay, just dump it off to the flat. All right. Right up from that, Jalen Waddle, Miami wide receiver, on the loss to the Bills last night.
Felt like we prepared well on a short week. Back against the wall, we went out there and competed, and all odds was against us going into it, and we had to lean on each other, and we did. Obviously we didn't do enough to win the game, and that's a tough one to sit on going into a long weekend and following up on a late game. Felt like we prepared well.
All right. The only turnover in the game, by the way, was Tua's interception. It was a pretty clean game overall. And also there was a horrible penalty on the Dolphins that led to the last field goal for the Bills. And it was a roughing the kicker call. Zach Sealer roughing the punter penalty. And here's Mike McDaniel right up from that, Angel. Right, here's Mike McDaniel again on that call.
Well, I think, for me, I'm always starting top down with myself. I'm very critical on, myself, and, hold all of the coaches accountable for putting players in situations. And, that particular one was unfortunate because the intent of the play was not to get Zach Sealer to block the punt. He was trying to speed up the process of the punter by a bull rush on the long snapper, and he was a little too successful in that. So he was kind of scot-free staring at the punter, and I don't need to say anything in the moment to make him worse. It's not like I'm worried about him doing it again.
Oh my God.
Well, I think for me, I'm always starting top down with myself. I'm very critical.
All right. And now right after that play led to this.
Outside to Shakir. Inside the 10. Shakir all the way in.
All right, so that made it 28-21. But Buffalo was punting before that from midfield on 4th and 7. And then Sealer was flagged for roughing punter Cameron Johnson. So the 15-yard penalty put the Bills at the Miami 36, and Shakir scored 5 plays later. Again, let's scroll up and hear from the man himself, Angel, right under the show. Here is defensive lineman Zach Sealer, who made that critical roughing the punter penalty.
Stop it. Goodness gracious. Wanted to jump the gun before I got there. Here we go.
Gotta be better. Can't make stupid errors like that. And we gotta learn from each and every play. Can't put ourselves in positions like that. And I can't do that. Obviously I gotta learn how to work through the punt rush and going through all that and falling to the side. So, like you said, not one play lies in the game, but it sure does feel pretty bad sometimes. So, God's got a plan, and we got to work through it, and we got to keep going. I think a lot of guys showed a lot of flashes today. I think both sides of the ball did some great things.
Got a plan.
Obviously, there's plenty to clean up, but I think we're trending in the right direction, and we just got to right the ship and go on a run.
How close did you feel like you were to the ball?
I haven't watched it yet. I couldn't tell you.
You knocked over the long snapper. Did that cause problems with you stopping?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I haven't watched it yet. I haven't felt it yet. Middle of the play, working over somebody's never easy, but yeah.
You guys seem to play better today. Do you take any solace in that?
I mean, we didn't play good enough to win. But you know, like I said, we showed some flashes. Guys showed some good things out there. I think we played better as a whole on both sides of the ball, on all three phases.
All right, Angel. After this answer, we're done.
And,
Okay, who's the one that, do you not see there's an interview going on? Someone's going into their laundry closet or something else there? Goodness gracious.
I don't know. It could be the trainer. They don't give a shit about the media. The people doing that, they don't care. They're probably, if they don't go get something, it's probably for a player. Somebody going in and getting something for a player. If they don't get it immediately, especially after a loss, you know, there's going to be yelling and screaming and crap like that. Let us hear from the Buffalo, the winning side. Now, remember what you just heard there. Defensive lineman Zach Sealer called for that roughing the kicker penalty. Remember, God has a plan, but 0-3. God has a plan. Okay. The plan is, God's plan would be, and I know God's plan would be to fire the coach or coaches. Okay. Let them go find their way and rethink their lives somewhere else while you can get some stability going in this organization. But Stephen Ross wants his buddy, his adopted son, Charlie Brown, to keep coaching the team. All right. After the game, and by the way, let's praise the Buffalo Bills a little bit as well. Josh Allen threw 3 touchdown passes, including the go-ahead 15-yarder to Shakir, which you just heard, with 17-17 to go. And 31-21, Allen finished 22 of 28, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Tua, 22 of 34, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that costly interception as well. Cook had 108 yards rushing. He is so underrated. He's one of the most underrated players in the NFL for the Bills. Had 108 yards rushing and a touchdown. And Kincaid, one of my favorite players in the NFL, and I'm a big tight end guy anyway. He was excellent last night. 66 yards on 5 catches for a touchdown. 31-21. Yeah, yes, it's probably the best game the Dolphins played all year. There's no question about it. I think it was a short week affecting everybody a little bit. Milano wasn't there. A couple of other guys for the Bills were banged up. They didn't play. But Miami played probably about as well as they did, and still not good enough. They were 10 of 15 on 3rd down, which is surprising for the Bills' defense the way it's played. But nevertheless, I'll give Miami credit for that. But you still lost by 10, and it could have been you might have been able to actually pull off a major upset, but you didn't. Your team's 0-3. Your coach sounds like a fool again after the game, Charlie Brown. And I don't know what Tua is being morphed, semi-morphed. He is absorbing whatever Mike McDaniel is shelling out, because he's starting to sound more and more like Mike McDaniel. And the owner doesn't want to fire anybody. The owner doesn't want to fire anybody because he's sentimental. Sentimental idiot. That's what happens. Here's Sean McDermott right after the game on the win. Bills head coach.
First of all, good to get a win. Never easy. That was a heck of a game. High level competition. The Dolphins played a real good game, and our guys made a couple more plays. And I thought the grit, the mental toughness of our football team was on display throughout the game, in particular in the 4th quarter there. Deion getting his hands up, Deion Walker, and TB making that play, and then being able to seal the game. Good to see in a 4-minute offense there. Get the yards we needed to put the game away with Matt and Reed and Cam going out there. That's a key situation to be able to put it away right there. And crowd was phenomenal, as it always is. Great to play at home in front of our fans. They're unique, and we love them.
Yep, they're definitely that. By the way, Josh Allen talked about Khalil Shakir and finds out his touchdown pass to him was Josh Allen's 200th career touchdown pass, thanks to the Bills webpage.
Like, first couple weeks back from that ankle injury, and now today gets his first touchdown of the year. Just how nice is it to get him back in rhythm with the offense?
It's awesome. Khalil does everything the right way, constantly following the ball, constantly being in the right spots. He makes some unbelievable plays for us. And that was a great play. Finding a way to get in the end zone there, and we're going to need more of that going forward.
You were aware that was your 200th career touchdown pass?
I was not. It's pretty cool. It's my parents' anniversary tonight too, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad. There you go, Josh Allen. I've never ever hated the Buffalo Bills, Angel. I mean, they're obviously somewhat of a rival with the Patriots, but since Tom Brady owned them for so many years, and I rooted for him every year in the Super Bowl, the 4 Super Bowls straight. I rooted for Buffalo every single year, and You know, I still have there is for me that word sentimentality. I do have some sentimental feelings for Buffalo Bills fans to a point, but it's a hard team not to like. I mean, it really is. I mean, they're well coached. Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen as well. Great player to watch. The Jets I hate, and the Miami Dolphins I hate. I've never hated the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
There's certain teams in the division in any sport that you either hate or you love or you feel indifferent to. I never wanted the Jets or Miami to do well. Buffalo was kind of like the redheaded stepchild. You just want them to do well and get there, and we'll see. They've had a lot of starts like this, 3-0 a few. They always look good right up until there's like one key, whether it's a missed call by the ref or a turnover at an inopportune time. But who knows? Because it could be the Bills' year. Could be a lot of people's year. Because I'm sure in Baltimore they're saying the same thing. But anyway, that's my sentimental favorite has been the Buffalo Bills for quite some time. We'll talk with Gabe and Renzi too at 9:30 because that's his boys.
I just want to know why do you keep McDaniels? And I understand what Ian said that Ross, the owner doesn't want to get rid of him, but how could you not? How do you go into, especially like the owners meeting? I'm pretty sure they had his past winner. When you have all the other owners are pretty much pumped up. Well, I guess you would put Jerry and Mike like the last ones to speak. Like, is there everyone else spoken? Okay, those two. Go ahead. Give us 3 minutes of your dribble. But I don't understand how do you keep them around? There's not a winning formula. And you become pretty much
sentimental. It's very easy. The answer is obvious. And you heard Eden Rappaport, and he wasn't the only one. Cameron Wolf, I heard his report pregame as well also. It's just sentimental. He's a sentimental idiot. He's a marvelous businessman. And, what Rick Horrow said, the guy does amazing stuff in the community. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. The good of Stephen Ross outweighs the bad by a lot. But when it comes to this football team, you're not running it like your other businesses, and that's the problem. And you've lost your fan base. This stuff about fans aren't in the seats. They're going to be all Jet fans there next Monday night. I'm telling you, there'll be all Jet fans in that stadium. The Dolphin fans are they're not going to go. They're reselling their tickets. All right, we'll have some more NFL cuts a little bit later on. What we're going to do here is take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to get into some college football news as well, with the Florida Gators coming to Hard Rock to take on the 4th-ranked Miami Hurricanes. And I think the line has gone up to 9 from 7.5, but I will check that. Josh Prey, our famous comedian, I just retweeted. He goes off on Miami. We'll play that as well. Also, a pretty good exchange on the Pat McAfee show yesterday with Stanford Steve, who I like a lot on College Game Day, and you see him a lot on these shows. And he thinks the Hurricanes are the best team in the country right now. By the way, so does CBS Sports, one of the polls. They have them at number 1 as well, but it's still very early. Big rivalry game coming up. College Game Day coming to Coral Gables. Matthew Tkachuk is going to be the guest picker. Some are outraged about it. I think it's absolutely childish to be so outraged over a guest picker when so many of the other great Miami players and all, they're all featured all the time. I think people have, as Gordon would say, lost the plot a little bit here with this kind of stuff. I think it's going to be great, and I hope he has a Stanley Cup with him. That'll be a blast. So we'll talk about the Canes and the Gators coming up next, some other college football news as well, and lots of NFL news, some MLB news sprinkled in also here. And we'll do some hockey talk as well at 8:30 for about 15 minutes with Mick Colagio, because believe it or not, how'd you like to be a Bruins fan and have to, if you have season tickets, and you're playing at 5 o'clock on Sunday, Angel, at the Garden. 5 o'clock, exhibition game against Washington. 5 o'clock on a Sunday. I guess you get done with the Patriots-Pittsburgh game. I guess you can try to get there maybe by the second period from Foxborough to the Gardens, about 35-minute drive with no traffic, but it's about 2 hours after a Patriot game to get there. So, but an interesting, that sucks and you get the Red, and you got the Red Sox playing the Rays, Angel, this weekend, right after, down the street from Ray J. What a mess that's going to be downtown for you people on Sunday.
Yippers.
It's going to be crazy. You're going to have all the crazy Jet fans there. There's probably going to be fights. And then you got the Red Sox and Rays not too far away down the street. How's that traffic going to be?
Yeah, it's right across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Anywho, all right, quick break. When we come back, all of that stuff and a whole lot more. Some great videos, some great guests today. Jay Flanley at 8:05, Mick Colagio 8:30, John Meter-Perrell at 9, Gabe Morency at 9:30, Mike Pigskin Picks at 8:45. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Football Friday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
No, it sure is. It's an unbelievable opportunity for, for the university, the campus, the program to be showcased. And even more importantly, it's an opportunity for us to do a great job not being distracted and keeping the main thing what it's supposed to be, making sure that we all understand that everybody working together has granted us tremendous progress and we're getting better and better. And now as we take on what's the most talented opponent that we have faced,
That's Miami Hurricane head coach Mario Cristobal. How about my music selection? When's the last time you heard this song, Angel? Jigsaw Sky High. I'm awesome. Congratulations to me. What a great underrated song.
Yeah.
Imagine being unable to understand the words. And, I'm sorry. 70s and 80s music rocked to some degree, 90s, but after that, not a huge fan. Coldplay, maybe. Anyhow, Nickelback, I guess, somewhat. I don't know. Blown and lost sky high. Anyway, we're getting ready for college game day, heading to Coral Gables this week. First time since the Canes crushed Notre Dame, 8 years ago. It was 41-8. They get to take on the Florida Gators, who they crushed last year in the Swamp, which I was witness to, 41-17. And it is the big feature game of the day. Guest picker is going to be Matthew Tkachuk from the Florida Panthers, which I think is outstanding as well. Dylan says, morning, gents, big for CGM, big announcement today.
Yeah, big day for City Garage Motorsports. Apparently, they're going to have some sort of major announcement. From what I understand from my insiders was that Dylan is getting fired. That's a big announcement. So, Dylan, it was good knowing you. All right, it happens.
Before we continue, I do want to say Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So get on down there to Phil Castanetti Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus, Massachusetts. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. All right, Angel. We'll get back to the NFL a little bit. I'm trying to find some Patriot stuff and everything else. But I play a lot of Patriot stuff during the week. I want to scroll down right under the show before we get to, actually, no, we'll hang on to that a second. But it is two down under the show. On Pat McAfee's show yesterday, Pat and Stanford Steve talked about, at least Stanford Steve, they believe Miami is one of the best teams in the country, obviously, but they think they are the best team in the country right now. Here's how it went down yesterday on Pat's show.
I think because it's two Florida teams, a lot of people wondering why the hell would you go to that when there's other options. It's like I think that the Florida series this year has drawn more hype, and obviously Miami gets the host one. I think that potentially went into it, although Indiana is about 45 minutes south of here.
That's true.
Okay, and they are certainly taking on a good Illinois team.
Yeah.
And that would have been an electrifying environment like it was last year. Why do you think this game was the College Game Day show? You and I both have no say in where it goes. I think we should be very, very clear about that because that is the truth. But why do you think this was the game that we chose to go to, and what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's the storylines, Pat. You mentioned, maybe some of the biggest hype quarterback coming in the SEC was DJ Lagway with the stars that were attached to his name coming out. Him having success at the end of that last year. It sounded like they saved Billy Napier's job. But again, when the schedule comes out, you see you're about to get your teeth kicked in with what you have to do, knowing that they play these kind of out-of-conference games. They still got Florida State later in the year in their rivalry game. So I look at Florida as the biggest story, knowing how much people want to talk about coaches and hot seat and all that. But on the other side, that's the story for me. I believe Miami's the best team in the country. They're playing that way. The defense is insane. Carson Beck looks as comfortable as any quarterback in the country when you watch him. And my biggest question for the U, I think I said it last week, how are they going to replace their top 6 pass catchers from last year, along with a quarterback that comes in with no spring ball, limited summertime, had the surgery on the elbow? We were there in the SEC championship last year. So that's what the question was. And, man, they've hit the ground running. They look fantastic. The speed and the physicality on defense is crazy to me. And back against the wall, this is what we want. I mean,
yeah, look, I mean, all great points. There's no question. People talk about LSU's defense. I think Miami has right now the best defense in the country. It's very early, and this is why it does feel different this year for me. Right out of the gate, and I saw it firsthand with the Notre Dame game, it looks different than last year. Last year, they had the most prolific offense in the country. Cam Ward was firing on all cylinders, but the defense, for the most part, could not stop a runny nose. It wasn't awful. It was pathetic. And you saw the results at the end. The offense just needed to score 60 points a game to win somehow. But this year, with the way that defense is playing, it just feels different. I'm sorry. And I don't know how anybody can't see that. And you felt it. And that's why I think the Gators are going to be in big trouble. If you can only put up, 16 points against USF, a team that Miami just clobbered last week. I mean, clobbered them. It wasn't even the same. They weren't even in the same league. What is going to happen on Saturday night? Now, I try not to get caught up in that kind of stuff because, we know when sports and games don't transcend, they don't carry over a lot of times into the next week. But I got to tell you, I think DJ Lagway is going to be in for a major struggle coming up against that defense because you thought USF's defense held him, Tom. Wait till you see this defense. Look what they did to USF last week. And that was with an hour and 47-minute rain delay afterwards. And it just wasn't even close. And I think that Florida is in for I think they're going to get clobbered again. I do. I think it's going to be at least a 2-touchdown win for the Hurricanes. And I just don't see how Florida is going to keep this close. Rivalry, no rivalry. We all saw what happened opening day last year. 41-8 it was, or 41-17. Wasn't even close. I think Ruben Bain is going to have a field day against that Florida Gator offensive line. He is one of the best players in the country. He has been mentioned already in the Heisman watch, and rightly so. Again, we're very early here, and Carson Beck just looks like $1 million. He really does. And this is what happens when you have receivers. And Stanford Steve was right. When you look at, what they had to overcome with Restrepo and others leaving, and you got Malachi Tony in there, the freshman, who's just been unbelievable. Keelan Marion, C.J. Daniels, we're never going to forget that one-handed catch that he made against Notre Dame, the catch of the year so far. Alex Bauman at tight end. You got tight ends. You got 3 running backs. And Fletcher and Brown and Lyle all do different things. The defense speaks for itself. It's crazy. The front seven that Miami has is, if it's not the best in the country, it is right up there. All I heard all offseason was Clemson this, Clemson that, Clemson this. Miami's better. They're better. And Dabo Swinney now has to put out his resume during press conferences and threatening, almost daring Clemson to fire him before he goes off. But Ruben Bain, David Blade Jr., Mesidor, more. They got the Canes front seven. I'm telling you, they are going to terrorize DJ Lagway. He'll make a play or two. There's no question about it. I don't think it's going to be a shutout or anything like that. And I don't expect it to be 41-17. But I do think the Hurricanes are going to win by at least a couple of touchdowns. Again, I try not to get caught up in what happened in both USF scenarios. because I have a lot of respect for the Bulls and what they've done. But it was men against boys last week, and they went to the Swamp and won. Now, the only thing I say about DJ Lagaway, or I don't know if this is more an indictment on LSU's offense, or I should praise Florida for hanging in there. He throws 5 picks against Miami. They're going to lose by 50. How he got away with 5 interceptions in Death Valley, and they were still in the game at the end and only lost by 10. I don't know. That seems like more of an indictment to me on LSU and their lack of offense. They couldn't run the ball. They were 4 for 14 on third down. They had the one run, and this is where Kelly got all upset after the game on Saturday night and then apologized to the reporter. But I just think the Gators are in for a long day. I really do.
Just when my wounds were healing from last week, you just ripped them. Like, I got to put Band-Aids and scar tape and everything else back on.
No, I'm not ripping USF. It's just it's a different type of athlete, and the coach is probably not. I mean, I'm just talking reality here. The coach is obviously he's an excellent coach. That's why he's going to be wanted by a lot of people. Say Bill Belichick heads to the Miami Dolphins. Gasol, he's going to be named in every single head coach, including probably at Florida if Napier gets fired. He could very well end up there. Yeah. But I will be stunned if he's back at USF. But we just take it one game at a time. USF both going to get back on track. They're going to kill South Carolina State, and then take it from there. They still have a chance to be in the college football playoff. They still have a chance to be there. And they'll get better. They'll continue to get better and better. And they've proven they can win in a hostile environment. They've already done it. One of the hardest places to play is in the Swamp. And they went in there and they won. And beat them fairly and squarely and frustrated them all day. So there's a lot more wins coming for the USF Bulls. There's no question about it. And you might have to refresh right under the show. Our buddy, a comedian from Immokalee down here, Josh Prey, got into it. All it says is, excuse my language. So he gets into it on the Orange Bowl Boys podcast. And I have not heard this yet, but I know it's going to be funny. And I know there's a lot of cussing. But here we go. He seems delusional.
I don't think I'm being so reserved, man, but y'all don't understand. Like, I hate.
No, you don't need to be.
Okay, so I can get it out real quick.
You love it.
Y'all orange, y'all green, y'all stadium, everything. Stupid ass Sebastian, the U on the side of y'all helmet, y'all players, some old ass Hall of Fame trophies, y'all national champions for 1980s, them don't count no more. Y'all running backs, y'all receivers, y'all tight ends, y'all coaching staff have a record label, a group, and a philosophy, the field maintenance crew, the ticket boosters. I don't give a damn. Miss Patty, 86 years old, and she been a Miami Hurricane fan since 1937. Come grandbaby, future grandkid. Everything about the University of Miami, the Florida Gators, from walking in this on Saturday, 7:30, put our foot so far in y'all ass, you got to open your mouth, the ties too. We the real you, Miami.
I'm going to have Tim Tebow pray for you.
That is outstanding. By the way, the parking lot's open at 5 a.m. on campus. And on my Facebook page is a map of where everything is going to be. It's going to be right by... I don't know if you see it. Anyway, can you put on my Facebook page, Angel, real quick? Is that possible? On the preview, not the actual show running, but underneath it where I put the pictures up of everybody coming up on top. And I have a picture of, if we could show it, of exactly where everything is going to take place. In case you're new to going to Coral Gables, I know some of you are going to think this is going to happen, because I got a tweet from somebody the other day. It's like, oh, what time should I be at Hard Rock for game day? No. Do not go to Hard Rock for game day. You might go at 5 a.m. You might be the first one in line to get into the stadium, which will probably open up about 2:30, I believe, parking lot. But no, game day is on campus at Coral Gables. So do you see the picture, Angel? And I got on my Facebook page. You'll see it on. It's for today's show, and not that. There's another one. Not that.
Okay.
The one with you see. It's in that. It's in that thing. You're gonna have to. No. Yeah, keep going. No, keep going. That right there. That's yeah. We could show that.
Right.
So those of you, this is where game day is going to take place at Coral Gables. You see, and Angel, can you read that? You know where the lake is over there.
Let's see. Free to the public. Don't forget your life signings. It is Lakeside Patio, where it's going to be in.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lakeside Patio, Miller Drive, and between the food court. So basically, right next to Lakeside Patio is where it's going to be in.
I believe that's where they were before the Notre Dame game 8 years ago. But again, it is do not go to Hard Rock Stadium for college game day because you'll be all by yourself. No one's going to be there except for parking lot attendance. Okay, so there's that. All right, let's see what else. So we're that. Okay, let me. Speaking of college football, I think this is interesting. Yesterday on the ACC network, it was this was announced yesterday. It's a pretty big story of college football. The ACC is closing in on a change to its scheduling format that will require all league teams to play at least 10 games against Power 4 competition, though the number of interconference games played, 8 or 9, remains a sticking point, according to multiple sources. ADs are scheduled to meet Monday in Charlotte. Yesterday on the ACC network, Miami AD Dan Radakovich talked with the panel about the upcoming schedule changes and ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips.
At the end of the day, though, with everyone else playing 9 conference games, does it feel like that's what the ACC is going to have to do?
You know, I think it's a big point as Commissioner Phillips is in conversations with the other Power 4 commissioners and the College Football Playoff Management Committee, you know, that we're in the same loop as the others. I don't know, having not been in that room of understanding what they're talking about, don't know how big a factor that is. Hopefully Jim will give us some insight into that when we get together on Monday and help set the table that, hey, 9 is going to be really important for us to keep a very good seat at the table as it relates to the other CFP commissioners and the Power 4 conferences. So it all depends on how big the CFP gets. You know, that's another driving factor that we won't know. I mean, it might be a totally different discussion if we were at 20 or 24, you know, in the CFP. Do you stay at 8 and then try to get these other games? But we're going to have to make this decision without that knowledge and just try to project it the best way we can.
Yeah, God forbid. And there was somebody in the Big Ten. It was not Dan Radakovich for the U that brought up 20 or 24 playoffs. That's just put it at 16, which I think it will be by next year, and just leave it there. That's where everybody else has it. The FCS, Division II, Division III, everything's at 16. That's enough. That's enough. We don't need a 2014 playoff. 16 is absolutely perfect. So ADs are scheduled to meet Monday in Charlotte to discuss the details of what will either be a move to a 9-game conference slate with one additional Power 4 game required out of conference, or an 8+2 model that will provide more flexibility to schools that already have an annual non-conference rival. So Clemson AD Graham Neff said the ACC committing to go to 10 Power 4 games is a big step forward. It's indicative of where college football is and leads into emphasizing the importance of strength of schedule and more Power 4 matchups. Absolutely. We're tired of these these FCS schools. I know they get $600,000 to play the Power 4 content. Nobody wants to see 63-3. Nobody. No. It's just ridiculous. Nobody. I mean, I hope Ray J. I know you're going to the game, but I mean, you know, USF playing, South Carolina State. That just playing South Carolina would be big. Playing South Carolina State, not so much. And I know that these other schools get some money. I'm just like, pick a school, give them the money, but go schedule somebody that's at least a mid-major or even a lower tier Division I school. But there's plenty of other schools out there that could be a little bit more competitive than some of these FCS schools that are getting their asses kicked. On the whole. Can you read that? What's Jerry say? Jerry in Rhode Island. Good morning, Jerry.
Yep. He says from last night's game. Pardon me. Good morning, guys. It always amazes me that the odd makers can get so close to a game that shouldn't have been not as close as it was over under, and the points were almost dead on. That's why I don't bet on sports.
Yeah, or you do teasers. I mean, last night I did I did my research. I did Rice to win the game out. Rice in a teaser over Charlotte, and so I actually had Buffalo at minus 5.5 because I got 6 points, and I had Rice +3. So that's why I do teaser bets. Games like that. Even though I thought it would be like 41-17, this is a bad habit. The closer I get to the game, the more I start to talk myself out. Well, that could be backdoor cover. And any double-digit spread is tough in the NFL because most games are decided by 7 points or less. Many of them, anyway. Many of them decided by 7 points or less. But, yeah, they covered. But still, on the money line, if you bet Buffalo, I think you had to lay $751 last night, Angel, to win 100. Just on the money line.
Ridiculous.
Yep. But, you can understand why. Now, let me see. Let me see. Before I'm going to play. The other thing to watch out for in the NFL this week, NFL officials have sent the message out. You're going to see a shitload of tush-push neutral zone infractions / offside / false starts are going to be levied this weekend. There's no doubt about it. It's going to happen. The message from the league, first reported by the Washington Post and later confirmed by ESPN, came in. It's training tape to officials, which is distributed to all 32 teams, Angel, on Wednesday. So it's particularly, which one of the best games of the day is going to be your Eagles going up against the Rams. And we are going to see if the situation should arise. I feel like a Batman segment. If crime should once again show its ugly head, call me, and I'll be there. How do you call him? He gave me the signal. Dun-dun. So you're going to see the tush-push signal up in the sky. It's going to be... I just made that up. That'd be pretty cool. The referees, whoever it is, tush-push signal.
Nah, this week not so much. I had a conversation with Nick after an email went out to all 32 teams. I told him just run it once, just once. That's it. That's all we need.
Well, here's Pete Schrager talking about it. Should the tush push be outlawed yesterday on ESPN?
Sit and watch the game. We want to get rid of it, but then they get defensive. Their fans get defensive, and now the whole thing turns into what it is.
And the issue was, I think, if you were to asking many folks in the league office, they would have liked to have gotten rid of it this past offseason.
Right.
However, they couldn't get enough votes to do that and to overturn it. Now, here was the issue. The league came out at the league meetings, presented it, and they said, let's table it. The word safety kept on being used. Safety, safety. They didn't have the data.
Exactly.
There's never been an injury from the tush push. When in truth, it could be as easy as what Nick just said. It's not aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
It's not fun to watch. It's not a pleasurable way to watch football, and it's not how we want to watch football. The problem is they have now 17 more weeks of a regular season to play. We have a whole playoff run, and they're going to be able to do this, and it uses their best asset, their big guys in the middle. Yeah. Jalen Hurts' lower body and Saquon's lower body, and it actually is a massive advantage and maybe their best play. So aesthetically pleasing, we from the couch can say, but when the league doctors are like, there could be a catastrophic injury, that's another angle. Guess what? There hasn't been. Truth of the matter is, we just might have to have someone come out and be like, it's not good for football, it's ugly, and please, we understand you guys do it.
Well, I think people have done that. And what you hear mostly, because the data is there has not been any catastrophic injury. And, of course, the NFL is a violent game. We know that. Football is a violent game at any level. You keep hearing about a catastrophe in waiting. That's all you hear. That's all you've heard with the well, it hasn't happened yet. It could happen on any play. But I think it's going to be I think you're going to see a crapload of neutral zone infractions, false starts, and offsides called on the offense and defense this week. It's going to be really, really interesting. The NFL showed the Eagles running the quarterback sneak on the third and short late in the fourth quarter for a first down and an eventual 20-17 win in Kansas City. And clearly there are at least two, they said at least 2 times it should have been called. There should have been a penalty of some sort on that play. Let me see. Raymond George, NFL Vice President of Officiating, training and development, Raymond George said, anytime we have this situation, we're in short yardage, we know we want to make sure that we officiate these plays. The offensive team has to be perfect in every aspect. We want to officiate it tight. We want to be black and white and be as tight as we can be when we get into this situation where teams are in the bunch position and we have to officiate them being onside, movement early, all that stuff. Prior to the snap, looks like we have movement by the right guard. We also have movement coming across from the defensive side. It's a very hard play to officiate. I get it. So just get ready for the penalties galore that are going to happen. But like I said, teams, and I'm sure already this week that Nick Sirianni, not just Nick Sirianni, but Sean McVay and all the other coaches that run this play from a time, it's just because the Eagles now are up to 96.2%, I think, running it efficiently. The rest of the league is well over 74%, also running it efficiently. So yes, the Eagles do it more often and do it better than everybody else. But it's not like the NFL in whole was there at 27%. But nevertheless, it's like a scrum in rugby, which they got rid of. It's going to be it's not going to pass next year. And this week, should the situation arise, the tush push bat signal is going to be up in the air, and there's going to be a lot of calls. And with that, it's already, can you believe it? We made it to another Friday, 8:06 here on the East Coast. And joining me all the way up from Ann Arbor, who has his own Tush Push fan club himself, is the one and only Jay Flannelly from Beavsville. Good morning, Jay.
I'm so tired of looking at that fucking play. You have no idea. But it's
how come we don't see it more in college? How come we don't see it more in college?
Well,
I
because
used to see it a little bit more. I mean,
yeah.
I knew it was quarterback sneaks, but how come we don't see the tush push more in college or even attempted?
Couple reasons. First of all, I mean, how many of these quarterbacks can leg press 700 pounds like Jalen Hurts?
That's true.
And the other part is very similar to what's going on here with us having Bryce Underwood. Why would you subject your multi-million-dollar investment quarterback in a lot of hits? So you don't want to, the fact that Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, back in the day, Cam Newton and Lamar Jackson now, you have the bigger quarterback. But, I mean, I always talk to people about this. Cam Newton's on television and Michael Vick's a coach. Check out how old they are. They're not Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning playing until they're 40.
And those guys all did quarterback sneaks very, very well, especially Tom and Peyton.
Yes.
Without a tush push.
Yeah, but Cam Newton got destroyed.
Absolutely.
Cam Newton is like Shaquille O'Neal in the NFL. He's hard to officiate because he's so goddamn big. And he used to get cheap shotted and run all the time.
You just nailed it. Cheap shotted. How many penalties were never called against that guy that should have been called? It was embarrassing because he was such a big guy. Roethlisberger was a big guy but Cam Newton got screwed so many. I mean, every week we sit there and go, what are they doing?
Yeah. Well, if you watched last night, there was almost a couple fights because the Dolphins doing stuff to Josh Allen.
Yeah. So,
and I don't know if you know this, Josh Allen's kind of important to the Bills.
So
just a little bit. And but as I was talking to CPR, my high school coach, I said the Dolphins better be real careful here because Tua is one more hit away from being an invalid. So that's what's going to happen. Back in the day, you remember the old House of Pain, the Houston Oilers teams of Jerry Glanville with all their dirty hits? Yeah. What would happen is instead of going after the defensive guys in the Oilers, cheap shot, they go after Warren Moon and his receivers, and it didn't really age well.
Remember Sam Weish, Jerry Glanville brawl that almost happened at midfield? I mean, those were the days, baby.
Oh, yeah. How about Sam Weish? They're grabbing the microphone and saying, "You're not from Cleveland. You're from Cincinnati."
That's right. Because they were throwing shit out because they were throwing water bottles and beer bottles on the field that day. Yeah,
that was an interesting division when you had Marty Schottenheimer, Jerry Glanville, Sam Weish, and Chuck Noll. So
that, remember, and then
well, Chuck Noll almost got in the fight with Jerry Glanville after a game too once, which was
Jerry
funny.
Glanville almost got in a fight with everybody, and then he left tickets for Elvis every game. He always did. That's a true story. He left tickets for Elvis,
100%.
no matter where he was, every game. But then you remember, with the Oilers, remember, Mouse Davis with the run and shoot, which nobody really had seen before in the NFL. Only University of Hawaii back in the day was running that, and there was some interesting stuff in that division back then.
It was crazy. There was the one year where the Oilers and the Browns played back-to-back weeks in Cleveland.
Yes.
They decided, and it was in the snow the week before when Bernie was hurt, and they had Don Strock playing quarterback, and he got hurt, and Mike Pagel came in.
That's right.
And I'm doing the old, I think Mike Pagel went to Purdue. So people do not realize this. Purdue, I believe, is the only school in college that has 3 quarterbacks who won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't think there's anybody else. It's hard to find schools that have guys that have won 2. I've had 2 guys win. So, I mean, Michigan's an obvious one because it's just Tom and nobody else. But, there's not a lot of Alabama's another one.
Yeah.
With
But Purdue, to your point,
Bart-
Drew Brees and Pagel,
Len Dawson and Bob Greasy.
Bob Greasy, definitely Bob Greasy.
Bob
Yeah.
Greasy, Len Dawson, and those are the 3.
Yep, amazing.
And I'm trying to think who else. There's a couple others. It's also, I said Alabama with Bart Starr and Ken Stabler.
Yep.
I'm probably missing another obvious one. There's not that many. There's not that many
Heisman winners
that
on
had more
Miami.
than-
There's a lot of Heisman winners on Miami, but none of them won Super Bowls. They all
Vinny,
came-
Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, none of them won.
None of them.
None of them won. Ken Dorsey, Gino Torretta.
Gino Torretta, all Heisman Trophy winners or close to it, all of them. They are, and just unbelievable. It's just incredible college quarterbacks, but some success in the NFL. Some of them, Bernie Kosar particularly. But I remember, just real quick, going back, I remember
Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar, and I'm glad his health's doing okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Those old playoff games in the 78, 79 between the Steelers and the Oilers. Remember, it was Divisional One and then an AFC Championship in the other.
Dan Pastorini.
Remember the rain? Dan Pastorini, Renfro. But remember the rain? There were puddles on top of puddles at the old Three River Stadium. And I just remember Bradshaw, he scrambled a little bit, but this one, remember, he must have slid on his ass 20 yards. Remember spinning around like he was on a big wheel back in the 70s and stuff like that. If not for the Steelers, the Oilers might have won a couple of Super Bowls. They would at least got there. They could never get past Houston back in the day. But I love that Houston, that Dan Pastorini and Earl Campbell and a whole slew of others. So those were fun teams to watch back then.
Robert Brazil was the stud linebacker.
Yes.
But I mean, that Steelers team, this is before free agency. They had 2 Hall of Fame linebackers, 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers, 2 Hall of Fame running backs. I mean, the D-line was incredible.
That's right,
Joe Green, Nelsie Greenwood.
They won 4 in 6 years, right? I mean, the first team to win 4 Super Bowls, but we digress. They're going to lose in the wing. They're going to lose to the Patriots on Sunday. I'm telling you right now, they're going to lose that game. Let's stick with college football here with you. Let's start with your boy, Michigan, going into Lincoln, Nebraska. I don't give a damn, and neither does Coach Rule about their 3-0 record because they've come against Twinkies, cupcakes, and ring dings. Maybe some.
And he's got a big mouth, and he's had a lot to say.
Although he said this week this is a whole other animal. I'll give him credit for that.
Well, that doesn't take back some of the stuff he ran his mouth about with the scandal, and a lot of our players know about this and are pissed. So he and his NIL bought and paid for team are going to pay the price.
I think you're going in there and you're going to win.
I think we're going to kick the shit out
handily, but I mean certainly as a 2.5 point favorite, I think you're going to win by 10, at least 10. I
agree. I think we're going to beat their brains in.
That's one of my plays of the week. That's coming up at 8:45. But their quarterback Dylan Raiola. I mean, okay, he's excelled against who? All right, 76.6% completion, 829 yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. But And Nebraska right now leads the nation in pass defense, allowing 66 yards per game. Against what? Against what? They have won. They've scored 123 points, 68-0, 59-7 wins over nobody. So I just think I don't know what you learn, except for maybe your third, fourth, fifth stringers, like those type of games. It's going to be really interesting because this is the type of game that I see the Wolverines punching them in the mouth.
I agree.
We'll see what they
We're
can
gonna beat their
handle
brains in.
when they're down 7-0, 10-0. Let's see what Nebraska's all about then.
Yeah, they have no idea about what they're gonna face, and the whole thing with Biff being the coach and Coach Moore being suspended, because you're not allowed to delete texts on your phone. So I would be suspended every night apparently.
I mean, they won at Cincinnati 20-17. Okay, that was the game. That was at Arrowhead, right? If I remember correctly, it was at Arrowhead, 20-17. All right.
Yeah, that was like the first game of the year, right? The Thursday night game.
Yeah. And then they beat Akron 68-0. And then who the fuck is this team? This ridiculous FCA. Houston,
like Northwest Louisiana.
The Houston Christian Huskies. Who the hell are they? In the
basketball school. It's a good basketball
59-7. They beat them 59-7. So now back-to-back weeks at home, Nebraska has Michigan and Michigan State.
Well, they got the varsity first. So they're gonna learn real effing quick.
Oh, Michigan
I don't
State.
Do this very often. I think we're gonna beat their brains. I mean, we're gonna beat their brains in.
I think you win by at least 10. I think by at least 10. In that one. I know a tough place to play in Nebraska, I'm sure it's going to be a crazy atmosphere, but
to quote,
Michigan's already gone through that crazy atmosphere in Oklahoma. So that's a good learning curve there.
Yep. And to quote one of my favorite movie titles from the 80s, No Mercy.
Okay, Johnny.
No mercy. Okay. I mean, Matt Rule, you and your big mouth. Here comes the Bills. Talks way too goddamn much. Are these games going to count? I mean, all the shit he said about, could be injuries. There could be injuries because they know our plays. Okay, Rule. Okay, Matt. Okay, Matt. Seriously, worry about your own fucking team, you idiot.
Remember when everybody loved Matt Rule?
Go get him.
Everybody loved Matt
because
Rule.
He's got a big fucking mouth, and he's never done anything that anybody can talk about. Well, you coached at Temple and Baylor. You got fired after 5 minutes at Carolina. I mean, it's just a guy. He want. Hey, you know what? You're good for you. You worked at Burger King, McDonald's. Now you're working at Morton's Steakhouse. Come get the bill, baby. It's coming.
I love it.
Fucking big mouth. Who just run? What's the biggest thing he's ever done in his life? Could somebody please tell me what that is? What do you win? 8 games at Baylor? Ooh. How did James Franklin get the Penn State job? Let's go over that. There's another one. Oh, he won like 7, 8 games at Vanderbilt. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, that was a big accomplishment back then, doing that.
Way,
and
are they doing good?
And now Vanderbilt's on the map.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt's one of the best teams in the SEC.
Thank you.
Pavia, the quarterback. And what they did to South Carolina last week, they didn't just beat them. They kicked the shit out of them at that stadium. Wow.
And didn't Coach Beamer lost his mind because they went after his quarterback.
Yeah.
So I saw that because I like Shane. So
yeah.
But do you think they miss him at Virginia Tech? And his dad at Virginia Tech. There you go. Look at that shit show.
Well,
maybe Matt Rule can go there when he gets fired from Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Dabo Sweeney's comment.
Pete, I really don't like Matt Rule. So, I mean,
how about Dabo this week, too? What about Dabo this week? He's so insecure, he has to give his resume.
He's trying to get fired, if you
but he sounds like he wants to go coach in the MAC or some other non-Power 4 conference. Because if he's not,
he could be Nebraska's coach when Matt Rule gets fired.
That could be it. That could be it too. That's a possibility. But that would be a powerful
amazing thing is, Pete,
he doesn't want to adapt and adjust to the current state of college football, which is a business, nil and transfer portals. And as Billy Bean said, I've been saying all week, adapt or die. He doesn't want to adapt. He did a tiny
what I
bit
was
this
about to
year.
tell you.
They're done. They're done.
That's what I was about to tell you. That he knows his time is going to be up. The donors aren't. They're going to lose another maybe 2 to 3 games. The quarterback is very overrated. He's the second most overrated quarterback in the country. I can figure out number one.
Arch Manning can't get out of his own way
yeah.
against UTEP, one of the worst teams in Division I football. That was Jay, last week, Arch Manning against fucking UTEP threw at one point 10 straight incompletions. 10 against UTEP? I could have a peewee quarterback out there, some 10-year-old in Florida down here, make a completion out of 10 attempts against UTEP. That is awful. That's what it is.
I'm 53 and I got a bad back. I went and saw my chiropractor yesterday. I can play better than that.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal, but hey, I'm sure we'll have to have a big bake sale for Arch and the family. Oh, wait a minute, we won't. But
it's not his fault.
They're going to be
it's
fine.
not his fault. It's the media's fault.
Well, it kind of is his fault because he sucks. So that's part of the if you bring me in and say, hey, this, he just died. Hey, we have Robert Redford here to be in a movie, and then they put me in the movie and I suck. I'm part of the deal because I went along with the joke about me being Robert Redford as an actor. By the way, I might be Robert Redford. You never know. But one of the more serious. I mean, it's like with the media and the creations with the internet and Twitter and social media, making people famous that have about as much talent as my left shoe.
But they made Arch
and he's
famous.
the latest example.
They made Arch famous when he was.
Oh, he's going to be the first pick in the draft.
Freshman.
He was the first pick in the draft. He couldn't even beat out viewers.
No, but in high school, they were making a big deal out of it.
Carson Newman.
A year in high school. So I don't.
Yes, Carson Newman. Yes.
At least he hasn't come off like a know-it-all or anything else. He keeps saying all the right things. The media is the one.
Well, Quinn Ewers is like that. Ewers was one of the. He went to Ohio State. He went to Ohio State to make money, and then he left.
Yeah.
And then he was just okay at Texas. He was never anything special.
Nope.
And I warned you all summer. I said I would be concerned about this guy because you couldn't be on Quinn Ewers, who's like a 7th round draft pick in the NFL.
I agree with you 100%. There's no question about it.
I mean, the Cam Wards of the world, and the kid who's now Tennessee's quarterback, who come from smaller places and elevate and get really good, and they use the portal to advance themselves. Hell, I'm about to say it. Numbnuts, who won the Natty with Ohio State last year at Kansas State. Will Howard. He's another one. A guy who goes to a smaller place, does really well. Like back in the day, not to hurt any BC's fans, I know you have my man Mita Perel on. Yeah. There's no goddamn way Doug Flutie would have stayed at Boston College his whole career. Because somebody would have brought a Brinks truck to him and took him away. And just because he was too damn good. I mean, the first time Flutie went in the game, I think he threw for like 500 yards against Penn State.
Against Clemson was his first. I think he came off the bench.
No, he came in a mop. No, that's the first game he started. But the Penn State game is when he first went in the game.
That's right, and that was in Foxborough.
They beat Clemson. They beat Clemson, and I think it was at Clemson when they won the game, in Texas A&M and a couple other big games. But they put Flutie in at Penn State when they're getting slaughtered. And he threw for like 500 yards in like 3 quarters. And Paterno couldn't believe how good he was. And that's back when he had Sandusky, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
So,
but Boston College was ranked all those
years. I'm the biggest Doug Flutie fan ever.
BC never lost in Foxborough. They were with him. They were like 8-0. They beat everybody. They beat Alabama. They beat Penn State. They beat Texas. They beat Clemson. They beat everybody. But I thought the first game he came in, it was right after Clemson won the national championship, and I think did BC not play them to a 14-14 tie or something like that? I can't remember. 82. It was the first time I ever saw him come in off the bench, and he played really well against Clemson.
I actually think he started that game. The Penn State game was when he came in.
Okay.
And remember, that was in 1982 because Clemson won the Natty in 81. with
And you know what?
with Florida.
You know what Doug will tell you, because I played. He was one of my first interviews I ever did when I got in the business, and then I played in his unbelievable charity golf tournament. He was so generous for many years.
Maybe my favorite player of all time, by the
Do
way.
you know what he says is his favorite play of all time, and it's not the Hail Mary to Gerard Phelan against Miami? Do you know what he'll tell you?
Is it in the same game? Because I think I know what it is.
Nope.
The one he threw to his brother, Darren. Touchdown he threw to his brother, Darren.
Nope.
Help me out. Give me a clue.
What high school did he go to? Natick, right?
Oh, Natick. He won.
He won
didn't
the
he
state
throw?
championship or the division. I think it was.
Didn't he kick the field goal next point? He kicked the
in
field
the
goal.
snow, like a 44-yard field goal, something like that, in the
Yes.
snow or very
Yes, I
inclement
knew that.
weather. He will always tell you that is his favorite play of all time. Yep.
Wow.
Making that kick. We all remember the drop kick against Miami. They ended up losing that
Oh,
game.
yeah.
That was unbelievable. That was just.
And he didn't let Doug warm up. Doug went in the game cold and did that.
It was phenomenal. He was also one hell of a. Doug was also a great basketball player. They wanted him to play basketball at
still
BC
is.
too. They wanted to play basketball at BC
Can
too.
he slam dunk a ball, right? He can slam dunk a basketball, right? He
Yeah,
can slam dunk it.
he was amazing. Great, just an overall great athlete, and also an unbelievable drummer, a great musician as well. Great drummer. He had a
the
band.
Billy Flutie Band.
Yeah.
Billy Flutie Band, yes.
Yep.
So I got to give you something. You always love when I do this.
Yes.
The year he was on the Patriots with Tommy,
Yeah.
on travel days on Saturday, you probably know this story. Tommy and Doug would go in the Gillette and sit in the end zone and try to throw the ball out of the stadium. So they would.
That's awesome.
You probably heard about this. You should ask Doug about this, because it was right when Kyle Boulder did that thing where he got drafted because he could sit on his knees in the end zone and throw it out of the back of the stadium. So Tom and Doug saw this. You know how super competitive those two guys are.
Yeah.
So they started dicking around and doing this. And I don't know if either of them ever did it. Believe it or not, I would bet Doug to do it better than Tom. Just because I don't think that's something that Tom really trains to do. Now, he would. If he ever lost, he would train and then kick Doug's ass.
Now Cam Ward was doing
I
that
think,
last year. But Cam Ward, but a guy like Cam Ward compared to I mean, you're talking two different body types, you know. But Cam Ward was.
I mean, Doug's my size.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
5'9",
but yeah, they would literally sit in the end zone, and you see next time you see her talk to Doug, talk to him about this. But they used to do this, and it was pretty damn funny. And Hoyer, once Hoyer was there, Hoyer and Tom used to do similar things. Tom loves Brian Hoyer. You of course know this. He loves Brian Hoyer.
Absolutely.
So loves Hoyer.
All right, this is great. So I look for your Wolverines to win. I think Mike Haynes are going to blast Florida by double digits as well. I just don't see.
You should be on the alert for that, because Langway is a hit and miss guy. If he plays well, I mean, they could have won last week if he didn't stop throwing the ball to the other team.
Well, but
he's going to play better.
And that was before. But it's an interesting observation. I said the same thing. But is it more? If he throws 5 interceptions against Miami, they're going to lose by 50. Florida lose by 50.
Oh,
now, the fact that he threw 5 interceptions, and because LSU can't run the football except for one play at the end and went 4 for 14 on third downs, is that more of an indictment? If you just showed me that stat last week, that Lagway threw 5 picks and LSU, I would have said LSU won by 40. Florida's still in the game at the end. They're still in it.
Yeah.
They lost 20-10, and they had a chance. They're still in the game at the end. So is that more of an indictment on Kelly and LSU, or are the Gators hanging in there, hanging around? I don't know.
No, it's more on LSU offense being not good, and that's Brian Kelly's side of the ball. And I like to say mean, nasty things about Brian Kelly because he's an asshole. So, I just like to say, by the way, just the stat of the week, we're 2 weeks into the NFL, and we started the games last night. There were 5 starting quarterbacks injured.
Yeah, I know.
5 starting quarterbacks, and I learned something very important over the last 24 hours. The hidden stat, there's always stats to tell you who wins the game. In the NFL, over the last 4 years now almost, the quarterback who has the better quarterback rating in the game wins like almost 80% of the games. This year, it's like 27-5 so far. So it's like 80%. So go ahead and look at your games. Look at who has the better quarterback rating, and then project for your game what's going to happen. As an example, somebody like Jared Goff is really good with quarterback rating. Aaron Rodgers is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Where, everybody knows Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen, and those guys are great. Jalen Hurts, Lamar, when Joe Burrow has 4 functioning limbs, those type of guys. So the quarterback rating thing is like, the other thing is turnovers. You just talked about that. This is the obvious one, but quarterback rating. So if you have a huge advantage of your quarterback rating, which is good because it's a passing sport now. As great as the Bills looked last night with James Cook. I got to say this, Pete, because you make fun of him before you let me go.
Cook's the most underrated player in the NFL.
Oh, without question. That too. Tua Turnovopova, whatever the hell his name is.
Tagovailoa.
Well, Tua turned it over. Oh, yeah, he was awful.
Yeah.
Terrible in that game. But I got to say this. They played hard for our boy.
He was actually pretty good in that game, to be fair, up until that pass.
Until it mattered, Pete. Exactly.
Until it was a horrible pick. But, go ahead.
Yeah, you were great. It's like saying you were great in warm-ups, and when you went on the stage, you sucked. So that's what Tua is.
Impossible. Yeah,
Tua is going to be working at the tuna parlor real soon. He's terrible, and you can't bring him in as a backup because, like I said, he's one hit away from being an invalid. So it is what it is. But no, I thought the Dolphins played really well. The whole game changed on Matt Prater's missed
10 or 15 on third, 10 or 15 on third down. But again, stupid penalties at the end. The rough and the puncher thing was horrible. And then that led to his 400th Josh.
Did you think that was a bad call? Did you think that was a bad call, or did you think that was a right call?
I didn't think it was like. It's like 6-5 and pick them. Sometimes they'll call it, sometimes they won't. But the Dolphins are not that type. They can't afford 0-3, and then you still have sentimental Stephen Ross still talking about how his adopted Charlie Brown coach, and he doesn't want to fire him. It's just so ridiculous. And now Tua at press conference is starting to sound like Mike McDaniel. It's bad.
So one of the other things that was really apparent to me, and it was when I was watching it, is because we watched last week with that idiot Cliff Kingsbury calling plays to the Commanders.
Yeah.
And just how he got Jaden Daniels killed, refusing to run the ball, running the same goddamn plays, the receivers over here, there's no adjustments in formation. And then you watch Joe Brady, who literally, I think like 10 guys touched the ball last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, it sucked for me in fantasy because I got Keon Coleman, and I got James Cook on a bunch of teams.
Did you have Kincaid?
And I got Kincaid. I got Kincaid, but on both the teams I got him, he's backing up Brock Bowers, so I'm good there.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was just how good Joe Brady is. See, that's the thing, Pete. When you watch as much football as you and I do, you realize who the dumbass coaches are and who the good coaches are and the coordinators.
Well, that's the thing. We know that sometimes dumbass head coaches used to be excellent coordinators.
Yes.
And then they go on to become dumbass coaches, and they just some of them, which you're not going to damn them for taking a promotion, but sometimes you got to stay in your lane. Josh McDaniels, a great offensive coordinator. I don't know what Ben Johnson's going to be. I think Dallas.
He'll be working for Dan Campbell in about 3 years, being an intern.
Quickly,
I told you that was going to happen. By the way, I got that one right. I had the beat down there correct. And it's Matt Rules. We're going to do this every Friday. Beeves beat down of the week. Here comes Nebraska. Come on down. Here's the bowling pins. Go get them, Biff.
I'm with you.
Okay, buddy. I'm going to go.
Right, I'll talk to you.
You and Angel have a good weekend. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, bud. Take care.
Thanks,
there we go.
Thank you, brother.
All righty. Have a great weekend. Mick Colage are going to join me any second now as well. And Angel had to leave. He's got a personal thing to take care of, so he will not be here the rest of the show. But Mick Colagio is supposed to join us via video anytime now. And later on, I'll have my Pigskin Picks coming up in just a few minutes. And then John Meter Perrell will join me at 9 o'clock, and we'll talk to him about what's going on in the ACC, the new scheduling stuff I just played earlier. And His Eagles are off. I want to hear about his trip to Stanford and the flight back, which had to be terrible when you don't score in the second half and lose out in Palo Alto. We'll get his thoughts on all of that and a lot more. All right. One cut I haven't played for you. Chip Kelly, the Raiders offensive coordinator, is adamant that Tom Brady does not have a huge role in the team's game planning process. It's from the Raiders webpage.
There was talk on the broadcast on ESPN about Tom Brady's involvement and talking, with you during the course of the week. Was that within the proper context, do you feel, or anything taken out of context with that in terms of his involvement?
Well, I don't know what was said on the broadcast because we don't watch the games, but Tom's involvement with me is I spent a lot of time just talking football with him, but it's not on we don't talk about game plans we spent a lot of time over the summer, a couple Zooms. He was traveling all over the place. I was away, and we would just talk ball. What did you like against this? So really, when I use Tom, and I just use him as a resource of, hey, when you faced a Mike Zimmer type defense, what did you like protection wise and play wise? But on a weekly basis, he's not game planning with us or talking to us. I know the week of the Patriots game, I actually heard from him in the morning of the game. He sent me a text saying good luck in the opener, touch base after the game. That was it. And then, I knew he was coming into this game. He sat in the box when we played San Francisco, I think, in the preseason game, but he doesn't talk to the coaches when he's up there. I think he's watching football. But in terms of weekly game plans, that's not a collaboration that we do. He's also a busy guy, so I haven't even thought of using him to do that, and I don't even think you can. So, our staff does all that, but he's been a guy that I can talk football with, just shooting it about, hey, have you ever faced a two-trap defense or the inverted Tampa 2 that everybody's running now? If you ever see, what was your best thoughts about that? Things like that. But we don't talk game plan at all or any of that stuff in terms of on a weekly basis. So.
Well, I think it's very interesting, Chip Kelly, because it's the statement the NFL put out on Monday was hilarious about, you can have headphones on, you can be a minority owner, have headphones on, blah, 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 but you can't step into the stadium because, of course, it's like MI6, they're monitoring all the conversations. But if they see Chip Kelly and Tom Brady have a conversation, it's never about game planning, right? It's how you doing, how's the family, how's the kids. Anyway, just like that. And it's been a couple of weeks, but it is amazing that the NHL preseason is upon us. So we welcome in one of the best hockey people in the country, analyst, good friend, and just one hell of a guy is Mick Colaggio here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. We're going to talk about 10 minutes here about the upcoming season. But Mick, 5 o'clock on a Sunday after a Patriots game, the Bruins open up their preseason against Washington. Ew. But here we are. It's that time of year.
Here we are. Yeah. It's hard to believe that it's upon us here, but it is. And the players were on the ice yesterday morning for the first time officially. And they're back out there this morning at Warrior beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then one more Saturday, the third day, with a little scrimmage between two of the three squads. And then Sunday, they're going to pick a lineup. And I think that this is the most sincere training camp the Bruins have had in a very long time.
Why do you say that? Because no expectations. Why is that? Is that because of no expectations?
No, or? I think there's no expectations around them. There's high expectations inside. They have high expectations of themselves. They think that the snapshot people had of this team after the March 7 trade deadline is wrong, and that the snapshot of them being pushing in the division all year long like they had the year before, that's the snapshot that they're going for. They believe that they're going to be, a tough out, and they're not talking cup contender. They're not talking playoffs. They're just saying, we're going to be a tough out. We're going to be a competitive team. We're going to be hard to play against. We're going to be a pain in the ass. That's what they think they're going to be. And to that end, they brought in Tanner Jeannot, Mikey Isamont, who Tampa fans know.
Yes.
And so they're trying to reload their culture. Victor Arvidsson is a pesky. He may be back 9 from a technical standpoint as far as production and speed goes. But he's a pesky guy. I was watching Tanner Janot tip pucks yesterday. He was picking everything out of the air right in front of the goalie. He
I
was
love
touching,
that.
he was getting his stick on everything.
Charlie
And
Simmer-esque.
yes, and I mean, he doesn't have those hands, but he's got the willingness and the size to get to the net and the meanness to deal with it if anything happens.
You just
So-
mentioned Victor Arvidsson, and I see that he's been playing, or at least projected to play with Casey Middlestat. Who was this left wing? Murat? How the hell do I say that name? Murat
Husnudinov?
How do you say it?
Husnudinov? Yeah, Husnudinov. It starts, it's like a lot of Russian names that start with a K.
Husnudinov. Okay.
It starts with a K, but you say the H. So it's
Okay.
Husnudinov. So he's a very skilled kid. He's a Minnesota Wild had him. He was one of their guys. I think they weren't sure what to do with him or how he was going to track. So when they were in the middle of making important moves for their team, he was the guy that they gave up. And so the Bruins now get to take him in sort of like stage 2 of his career. So he's gone through his break-in years, very similarly to how they acquired Pavel Zacha, who admittedly was a much higher draft pick. Zacha went 6th overall in 15. So, but the Bruins, if there's one thing that Don Sweeney has been one of the best in the league at, is identifying young players who have not found traction with their drafting team. And after, when they're hitting between their early and mid 20s, get them when they're at that critical developmental stage where they're kind of at a fork in the road. And Morgan Geekie, whom the Seattle Kraken did not offer a contract when he was a restricted free agent. In Boston, he's a 30-goal guy.
Yeah.
They unlocked him. And they've been good this way. They did it with Hampus Lindholm, who nobody really knew who Hampus Lindholm was when he was playing with the Anaheim Ducks. He was just a good guy back there, but he wasn't really, his career really hadn't blossomed. So Boston's hoping that with Middlestat, who was 8th or 9th overall in his year, that they can do it with him too. So that's kind of what they've been good at. That's what they want to get to, as you know. They want to turn him into the next stage of his career as a leader. They want him to be a leader and a protector of the young players that they plan to integrate over these next few years.
How much, I want to get back to the Bruins in a second, but I know if I don't get to your thoughts on this now, I'm going to forget. I think it's phenomenal, and I don't say this a lot about ESPN, as you know, but I am a big fan of College Game Day, and I am a big fan of College Football Live, a show that I watch every day, or every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think it's fantastic that they got Tkachuk to come and do the guest picker. There is some outrage by some people on social media who are big-time Miami Hurricane fans, who seem to think that it's got to be Ed Reed, or it's, there's so many stars, from the Hurricanes or ties. One guy suggested Ray Liotta, who's dead. But I forget all of some of the minority negative nonsense. It's ridiculous. But I think it is just fantastic that Tkachuk is going to be on game day tomorrow as the guest picker. And I'm hoping he has the Stanley Cup with him. I got to believe it's got to be there. I think it's true. It's tremendous. For the league. I mean, it helps. It's like people want to talk about Taylor Swift in the NFL. Well, this, I think, is fantastic, and rightly so. I'm only surprised it wasn't Paul Maurice, because maybe he doesn't know enough about college football. I don't know, but certainly he'd be entertaining. But Matthew Tkachuk, your thoughts on him being the guest picker and what it means for the NHL?
Well, I think that's the reason they did their deal with the devil. I mean, they were, the last time they had negotiated with ESPN in 2004, they had gone through a stage where the foremost arrogant letters in sports had degraded them from like 120 games a year to 80 games to 60 games to 20 games. And then finally they said to them, well, you can make us your channel, but we're not going to pay you any rights. And we're not promising to air any games. And the NHL said, okay, fine, we're good. And then people mocked them when they were on the Outdoor Life Network, which renamed itself Versus, and then was absorbed into the NBC network family of channels. But when ESPN came around this last time a few years ago and said, you know something, we want to take the NHL off NBC's hands. And they did the deal in conjunction with TNT. And the NHL made records amounts of money off of it because the NHL has come an awful long way from when it instituted its first salary cap at $39.5 million in 2005. So this is cross promotion. If you watch Good Morning America, you see this every day. This cross promotion, all the things they decide to feature. Lauren watches ABC and Channel 5 in Boston, so that's how I know this. So when she's watching, I see these things happen. It's cross promotion. Is ESPN smart to do this? Absolutely. Was it expected? It wasn't on my radar, but it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense for him to deliver the Stanley Cup.
And
It's
he's
in
the
the
first hockey
interest of
player
hockey to
ever.
get on
He's
the
the
biggest
first-
platforms.
First hockey player to ever be asked to do it. Well overdue.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's because of where we are right now with this relationship. I mean, Kachuk is a hell of a personality and a hell of a hockey player. And I remember when David Pasternak's contract had not yet been signed and Kachuk's had not yet been signed in Calgary. I was thinking, the Boston Bruins could really use a dose of Kachuk.
Yes.
And his dad is from Medford, right outside Boston.
That's right.
He should be in the Hall of Fame, Kachuk.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, the Bruins kind of missed their window on that one. But, no disrespect to Pasta, who in the years since has completely won me over. I'm not sure I regret the outcome now. I just feel like they're both fabulous players in completely different ways. And ironically, they fought. So, but Kachuk is it's a great move, even though it was like all teed up by the commercial relationships.
Well, and then just sticking with the Panthers real quick, what do you think? Brad Marchand came out and said, he thinks at some point he'll end up back with the Bruins, yada, 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 this, that, and the other thing. But for now, Florida Panther and the big part of why they won last year again.
He was, yeah.
But what were your thoughts on his comments the other day?
Well, I think the Bruins will retire his number after Z, after Bergeron. Chara's just going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. This is coming for Marchand is made himself an all-time great. I was just musing yesterday about 2010. The Boston Bruins had a 3-0 lead in the second round on the Philadelphia Flyers and had a breakaway in overtime of Game 4. And too much to ask of Trent Whitfield in that moment. But during that series, they have the Black Aces, the second group that practices by themselves with the backup goalie, who that year was Tim Thomas, who had a hip injury that we didn't know about till after the season. But Brad Marchand was having this great go-around with Tim Thomas, and they came into the locker room after practice before one of those playoff games in Philadelphia, laughing their heads off and talking and jabbing at each other about what went on out there. The Brad Marchand that ended that season was not the Brad Marchand that began it with 20 games and 4 penalty minutes and no goals. It got sent back to Providence. The Brad Marchand that ended that season, I wonder what would have happened had they put him in the lineup. So, Brad Marchand's had a hell of a career. It happened in a time that it did, and the Bruins wound up winning the Stanley Cup, and he helped big time. Game 7, unbelievable. And during the playoffs.
Okay, I'd say talking with my NHL insider, Michelangelo, rinkwrapmc.com, and still writing for the Boston Hockey Now, right? As well?
No, I don't write for them anymore. I write for the Hockey News. I do 3 issues a year. Just did the yearbook. If you see the Hockey News yearbook, I do the Bruins article. It's a formulated thing. Everybody's format is the same. But if you want to get my capsule on the Bruins, that's a good way to get it.
One more question for you before I let you go. And we could sit here again, but it's Football Friday stuff. But I had to get you on today because you're going to be at the game on Sunday afternoon, I'm assuming. Do you have to cover the Patriots?
That is the plan. I'm planning to be there.
You have a doubleheader day coming up like I used to once in a while. Me and Petrelli and others, Patriots by day, Bruins by night this time of year. I used to hate it, but I loved it.
I'm sure I will just listen on the radio and listen to Scott Zolak break a brain cell going nuts. Because now that they're 1-1, he is going to be so fired up. It's going to be crazy.
Let me last question about the Bees before I let you go. So maybe this is an unfair question. Who has more pressure on them this year? And then I'll just, Jeremy Swayman, starting goaltender, or that entire first line with Lindholm centering Geeky and Pasternak?
Well, first of all, Marco Sturm is the new coach.
Yes.
And he may reinvent some wheels here. We don't really know what the lines are going to be. I'm not assuming that he's going to say, there is a prevailing philosophy of, this works. I got to put that in place and I'll figure out the rest. Yeah, it's very easy to start there. I'm more concerned that Morgan Geeky stays on the off wing than that he stays on that line.
Okay.
Because Geeky has become quite the accomplished professional, and I think he'll help any line he plays on. He's got a lot of Wayne Cashman in his game. He doesn't look beautiful on skates, but the puck follows him. He's a right shot playing left wing. And the Bruins unlocked him by moving him there, just like Mike Knuble 20 years ago. So this is a 25 years ago. So this is
Jesus, it just seems like yesterday. God Almighty!
I know, it's crazy. It is. It's nuts. But yeah, we're there, and we don't really know what that's going to happen. I think Swayman puts tremendous pressure on himself in every situation. He's a real hard pro. Believes. Incredible confidence. People think he's an arrogant little blankety blank. That's because he's extremely determined. And I think the Bruins have a hell of a goalie there. I think they have a hell of a back end if McAvoy can keep his shoulders attached to his body. And other than that, offense is going to be hard to come by for these guys, but they're hoping to make up for it with a little piss and vinegar.
Nice. Mick, you're the best. Again, rinkwrapmc.com, right? And you'll be covering the game on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Be interesting to see. The Patriots will be over for about an hour by then. So I'm sure a lot of fans are going to actually try to get from Foxborough to the Garden, and they can get out of Gillette in under 2 hours and maybe make.
Yeah, I'm not all hyped up. You know what's funny? They were on the ice for the first time yesterday morning. Not a huge crowd inside Warrior. Not a big crowd. A Thursday morning, and at 10 a.m. And I've seen other years where this place was packed with fans.
Yeah, but
and
you know why that is or was? You know why that was? Honestly, God, don't forget the Red Sox were playing at Fenway, and it was sold out there yesterday at 1:35.
Oh, that's right. It was an early game, wasn't it?
It was very early for them. They played like crap again. They can't hit for shit. But anyway, that's another story.
Oh, Bregman's slump has hurt them. They seem though like they're playing hard now. They're not.
He's hitting the ball hard. Bregman's hitting the ball hard, right at people. Anyway,
I got to go to 2 games I went to 2 games in August.
Nice.
And I saw Roman Anthony clock a home run. Right. I saw Tolley's debut.
Tolley was awesome yesterday. He gave up a run, but he was throwing smoke yesterday. 99, 100 miles an hour, and he's going to help that team hopefully. Anyway, all right, Mick, you're the man. Thank you so much. And
pleasure, Pete. I'll let you move on with Football Friday.
Yes,
let's go.
There he goes. Mick Colaggio joining us here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports digital network. Again, Angel Martinez is had to vacate. He's got something going on, and all I could say is send some thoughts and prayers. Okay, that's all I could say. Meanwhile, it's that time again. I got to get these in quickly because we are moving right along, and it's time now, everybody, for the segment of the week you've all been waiting for. My Pigskin Picks, and I'll go through these pretty rapidly today. Normally it takes me a half an hour because of my big mouth, but we got John Mina-Perrell coming up. Talk some more football with him at the top of the hour, and then Gabe Morency will have his. So let me get going right away here. To recap, I might need my glasses for this. Hold on. Hold, please. As my friend Marie would say, hold, please. Okay. So going back to let me just do this. Jesus, I need a handler. Going back to last week. You all know I was 13-3 the first week in the NFL. Last week, I went, it wasn't great. 6-10 in the NFL, 2-3 in college. So for the NFL so far, I am 19-13-0, a .594 winning percentage, still pretty good. College football, I'm 4-6, a .400 winning percentage for a grand total of 23-19-0 against the spread now, although everything against the spread. .548 winning percentage. My best bet is 1-1. My underdog of the week is 1-1 as well. I will have the best bet and underdog of the week after I give out all my picks. Let's start in college football, shall we? Here we go. First off, tomorrow night, these are in no particular order, by the way. 8 p.m. on Fox. I love Iowa minus 2.5 at Rutgers. Sorry, Mr. Schiano. Iowa always beats Rutgers, always have, always will. I think it'll be a hard-fought game, but Iowa pulls away. Yes, they can win by a field goal or more. I believe they will. Iowa minus 2.5. Second college football game of the day starts at noon on ESPN2. This should be very entertaining. SMU is a 7-point dog at TCU. And Rhett Lashley's a fantastic coach, and I think SMU has a chance to win this game outright. I really do. There's going to be a lot of points in it, but I'm taking SMU plus 7 at TCU. Next, noon on Fox, noon Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. This game is going to take place. Texas Tech at Utah. Huge Big 12 matchup, by the way. 10 o'clock start in Utah because it's going to be on noon and Fox. So I like the total in this one. I like over 56.5. Texas Tech at Utah. 10 a.m. local time in Provo. Not Provo. That's where BYU plays. But in Utah. Salt Lake City. Utah and Texas Tech over 56.5. Noon on Fox. Next. Michigan is a 2.5-point favorite on the road at Nebraska. It's 3:30 on CBS. I believe that Matt Rule has opened his big fat mouth again. We're just talking about with Jay Flanagan. I think Michigan goes in there and wins handily by 10 or more. 10 or more. Michigan minus 2.5. And finally, the Miami Hurricanes are home as a 7.5-point favorite versus the Florida Gators. I just don't see the Gators hanging in there with this defense of these front seven of the Miami Hurricanes, and I don't see how their defense is going to stop Carson Beck and company. Canes minus 7.5 versus Florida. All right, let's move on to the NFL. I'm already 0-1 because I had the Bills minus 11.5, so they missed by 2 points of covering that game last night. But next up, let's get right to it. Arizona. Oh, let me recap my college stuff. Iowa minus 2.5 at Rutgers. SMU plus 7 at TCU. Texas Tech and Utah over 56.5. And Michigan minus 2.5 at Nebraska. Miami Hurricanes minus 7.5 home against Florida. All right, let's get to the NFL. Arizona. I like Arizona. Minus 5.5 at Carolina. Don't have any faith in the Panthers. Green Bay, I like the Packers minus 7.5 at Cleveland. This is going to be a tough call for Cleveland. Yes, at home. Yes, that hook is big. But Green Bay is playing some great football right now. You could arguably say in all three phases of the game, they're the best team in the NFL after 2 weeks, but it's 2 weeks. Houston at Jacksonville. This is a desperation game. We talked earlier this week with O'Brien about this. Houston, are they going to start 0-3? Boy, I don't think so. I got a feeling they're going to go into Jacksonville and upset the Jaguars. Houston plus 1.5 at Jacksonville. I don't see the Texans starting 0-3. Cincinnati in the battle of Carson Wentz with a 6 team against Jake Browning. Browning versus Wentz, but I am going to take Cincinnati here plus 3. I think this is going to be like a 1 or 2 point game at Minnesota, but I am taking the Bengals at plus 3 in this one. Next. The Patriots are 1.5 point underdogs at home versus Pittsburgh. I am taking the Patriots. I think Christian Gonzalez is going to play. I think the Patriots are playing well right now. They're going to continue success. I have no faith in Flaky Boy of anything. I just don't trust the Steelers. I think the Patriots are going to win the game by at least 3 points, if not more. So Patriots plus 1.5. Next. Rams at Philadelphia. The Rams are 3.5 point underdogs at Philadelphia. Love the Rams in this one, plus 3.5. The tush push is going to be under a microscope. There are going to be penalties called for false starts, for encroachment, and for lining up on the neutral zone gazore throughout the whole league, but particularly in this game. But Rams are my pick in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. They gave the Eagles all they could handle last year. I think it'll be the same. Rams plus 3.5 against the Eagles. Next. Tampa Bay is minus 6.5 home against the New York Jets. I think Baker Mayfield and company are going to clobber this team. I really do. There'll be a lot of Jets fans, I'm sure, or some at Ray J. There'll be a lot of them a week from Monday in Miami against the Dolphins. But Tampa Bay minus 6.5. Next, Tennessee is a 4.5-point underdog versus Indy. Yes, the Colts are 2-0. I'm still not convinced yet. My man Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. I like them plus 4.5 versus Indy. I like the road dog team in this one. Next, Washington is home. They are 3.5-point favorite against the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think stink. But I like Washington minus 3.5. Is Jaden Daniels going to play? Don't know that yet. I'm going to gamble and say that he does. But if he doesn't, Marcus Mariota, a more than capable backup. Next, Chargers are a 3-point favorite at home versus Denver. I'm going with the Chargers. I'm sticking with them. Jim Harbaugh has his team going. Chargers minus 3 versus Denver. Should be a great one. Seattle is a 7.5-point favorite at home versus New Orleans. I think I'd lay the 7.5. New Orleans, I don't know what they are, but I don't think they're going to win in that building, even though Seattle has not had a great home field the last couple of years. Seattle minus 7.5. Dallas at Chicago. Dallas, a 1-point favorite at Chicago. I don't know what Ben Johnson and the Bears are yet. But Dallas, we know they can put up some points. Can they stop? I mean, this might be the breakout game for Caleb Williams. Because if Danny Dimes can explode, maybe Caleb Williams can explode also on Dallas. Yes, I do think there'll be a lot of points. But I'll roll with the Cowboys here, minus 1 at Chicago. Next, Mac Jones attack, minus 2.5 at home versus Arizona. I am going to take the San Francisco 49ers in that one at minus 2. I'm just setting this up here. San Fran minus 2.5 versus Arizona. And on Sunday night, KC is a 6-point favorite at the Giants. So much of me wants to take the Giants at plus 6, a home dog in this one, because Kansas City, I don't know, but if there's any time the Chiefs are going to get back on track, I think it's this. And 6 points seems a lot to lay in this one, but I'll gamble and lay the 6 with the Chiefs against the Giants. And the Chiefs, will they start 0-3? It's possible, but I don't think they will. And then Monday night, which I'll get more into on Monday, but Detroit, I like the Lions plus 4.5 at Baltimore. My best bet of the week is the Miami Hurricanes at minus 7.5. I think they're going to roll over Florida. I really do. I think it's a 2-touchdown type of win. My underdog of the week is the Patriots plus 1.5 at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there you have it. Here, my pigskin picks. And should be, hopefully, more of what I did in week 1 when I went 13-3 against the spread. Rick says he likes Indy, Minnesota, New England, Philly, Tampa, Washington, Atlanta, Houston, Chargers, Seattle, Dallas, Arizona. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Good deal with that. All right. Well, John Meter-Perrell is going to join us any second now here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. Tell you what, I'm going to take a quick break, and then Meter will be back, and then Gabe and Renzi, bottom of the hour here. Pete Sheppard Show, Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
No, it sure is. It's an unbelievable opportunity for, for the university, the campus, the program to be showcased. And even more importantly, it's an opportunity for us to do a great job not being distracted and keeping the main thing what it's supposed to be, making sure that we all understand that everybody working together has granted us tremendous progress and we're getting better and better. And now as we take on what's the most talented opponent that we have faced, that we continue to elevate our process to get better.
All right, that is Miami Hurricane head coach Mario Cristobal. Game day at Coral Gables this week. And so I think the Stanley Cup will be there as well, with Matthew Tkachuk being the first hockey player to be the guest speaker, despite some stupid, ridiculous outrage by some Canes fans who just... And it's a small minority, but when people start talking about Ray Liotta, who's dead, should have been there as a guest speaker, there's some issues there. But just like that, we welcome in, still with jet lag, the one and only John Meter Perel, play-by-play voice for the Boston College Eagles and the ACC network as well. Good morning, Meter. How are you? I can't hear you. Is your mic muted? I can't hear. I can see you, but I cannot hear you. I see you. I can't hear you. Try refresh. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Okay, maybe refresh. Is your microphone muted? I can't hear you. Log off and log back on. See if that works. There he goes, just like that. I think he still has jet lag coming back from Palo Alto after the BC Stanford game last week, and the Eagles are off this week. So we shall see if this works. All right. Again, game day is coming to Coral Gables this week, and Matthew Tkachuk is going to be the guest picker, which I think is great. First hockey player ever to be the guest pick. Let me see. Let me do this. I might have to do this, do that, and then have Meter again. Let me see. Again, Angel Martinez had to leave. Now let's see. We do this transition. We do that, and now Meter, you're back. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I see you. I cannot hear you. It's got to be on your end. It's got to be something. Nope. Still can't hear you. Still cannot hear you. I see you fine. I cannot hear you. You sure your microphone's not muted? Your microphone's? Huh. That's odd. Are you going to try again, or? I can't hear you, so you can. I can't hear you. I can read lips, but only people are cussing. Let's try one more time here. One more time to get Meter back on. Here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Thanks for checking us out on the Coastal Sports Digital Network, by the way, the awesome video platform. Follow me at PShep326 on the Facebook pages and on CSDN Florida, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Odyssey, Instagram. We're on Instagram now as well, and LinkedIn. And call or text the show, 727-858-6650. But you can't call because Angel's not here. He had a little emergency. And now we'll try this. John Meter Perel, I think he went from the laptop to the phone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you sound like the Chipmunks.
Really? Now I can hear you, and you look like a chipmunk. But
you sound better now, Pete. I can hear you.
All right, I can. Would you switch to your phone?
Yes, it is a phone production.
All right. I don't know why. I still think your mic wasn't muted on the laptop. This is fine.
It was not. I am an Ithaca grad. I figured that out.
National champions, Norman Dale. Anyway,
yes.
How you doing? Tough loss last week in Palo Alto. Beautiful area. I stayed up. I watched most of it until I fell asleep at 1 o'clock, 1:15 in the morning after I had to sit through an hour and 47-minute rain delay for the Hurricanes in USF, and then I had to stay up to listen to you on my phone and then watch the game. Good, entertaining game in the first half. First of all, how was the trip out there? And after the game was over, how much time did you have before you had to get back on the plane and come back to Boston?
The trip out there was fine. It was fun. It was, it was a good 6-hour jaunt. got there on Friday and proceeded to check out some of the Santa Clara sites. We stayed right by the 49ers Stadium, which is got a taste of what the Super Bowl may feel like this year. And of course, went to In-N-Out Burger, which is a must on all California spots. That was great. Chach and I did a little Instagram post on that you can check out. And then after that, it was kind of just not knowing what time it was throughout the 48 hours we were there. It was a very disappointing loss. I cannot mince words about that.
Yep.
Was surprised that Stanford won the game. We all felt like BC would win. They fumbled at the one for the second consecutive week, which will kill any team. And the momentum just burst from there, and they gave up 21 points on 3 turnovers. So they're having trouble tackling Pete. Their offense, the good news is their offense looks good. Quarterback's terrific. Lonergan's really good. I know there was a pick 6 there at the end. That was not good, but he's a terrific quarterback. So at least they have something to build around there. They got a big-time game coming up next week after the open week against Cal. For them, they need to win that game. So, I still have optimism, but it was disappointing as far as getting home. That was not easy. We got on the plane a couple hours after the game. Everybody was a zombie. People cranky because of the loss. We all. I said to my partner Pete Cronin, I said, "I've never seen you at 3 a.m. and I don't want to see you again at 3 a.m."
So what time did you land?
Oh God, it was 8:30 Eastern time.
Oh God, it takes at least 2 days, 3 days to get over that.
I'm still feeling it, to be honest with you. I just started feeling good the other day, but I put my head on the pillow Sunday night. I fell asleep watching NFL games, and then I went to bed. I think I slept 10 and a half hours.
Oh man, I wish I could do that.
It was just great power
I know,
sleep. But
I know it's tough. You got to do the post game show, and then you got to gather your stuff, and then get on a bus, go to the airport. How far was the airport from the hotel, from the stadium?
San Jose, which is about half hour away.
Oh, so you got that, and you got to go through. Although you don't have to. Security's easy, right? When you're on a charter plane, it's not like.
Yeah, that was easy. You do get screened, but it's not like being in an airport. But it was. I tried to sleep on the plane. I woke up, looked around. When I tell you, everybody was snoring.
Oh.
It was a cacophony of snores, of odious smells, Pete. It was beautiful.
That's the way. Did you have a headset on so you could sort of block it out? That's the word. I hate people that snore like that. It's just. I was on a golf trip with a lot of buddies about 3 years ago, and I got to tell you, I had to get up. We were all bunked 2 in a room and everything. I don't snore, so it's just. But I don't mind snoring. There's snoring, and then there's that, And I can't imagine how many players on the 70 players on the plane.
We were in the back of the bus. A lot of players
shit!
First class.
People farting and snoring and
it
sweating.
Was hysterical.
How was did they feed you on the way back? It's a 6-hour flight too on the way back, right?
It was actually short on the way back. You gained some time on the way back, like 5 hours on the the way back. But
jeez, okay.
It was. Yes, they did feed us, but at one point they bring beef medallions around like it's 1974, and like you're on a Delta
beef medallions.
Jet. Beef medallions.
Hang on. First of all, what kind of beef?
Well, I did not eat it. At 3 in the morning, I was not eating beef medallions, but of course Pete Cronin did.
Remember the movie
Meatballs? Remember eat that?
Remember the movie Meatballs back in the day, Bill Murray? And there was one point where he says, "And tonight's winner is Joe, who guessed tonight's dinner and said some kind of beef."
Yeah,
beef
that's what it was
medallions
like.
Being warmed up on the plane. What else? Now, what came with the beef medallions? Was it Was it on top of some veggies?
I think there were some veggies. There were some rolls. There was some unidentified objects.
Anybody get sick after eating the medallion? The beef medallions? Were they Asian vegetables? Or so you didn't have. What else did it come with? A roll?
Not that I noticed. They also give you a big bag of like energy bars and jerky and nuts and grains, and I'm like, it's 3 in the morning. I'm not eating anything. Sorry, I'm not doing
More
it.
fiber, more farts from fiber at 3 o'clock in the morning coming back.
Yeah, exactly. I had like a piece of gum, and that was it. I'm good. Give me my dentine. I'm good to
But you
go.
had to be starving, right? Unless you ate before the game at the stadium.
We ate at the game, and Stanford. You figure they have all the money in the world. They
Yeah.
give us cold sandwiches.
Oh, like box lunch type of stuff?
Yes, like I'm eating a ham and cheese that looks like it's been there since the Tiger Woods era.
But I bet you there was an apple in there and some potato chips.
Oh no, there wasn't.
What?
No. Well, there were chips on the side of the table. I did have chips.
What about a brownie or a cookie?
The cookies were okay.
Yeah.
There were cookies. That's usually the standard meal. Actually, at these people love coming to BC because there's clam chowder.
Yes.
And you've had that at the BC press box. But I've said to everyone who asked me, in my 20 years of broadcasting BC games, I've never had clam chowder once because I am afraid of the ramifications.
Why? Are you lactose intolerant? You're afraid the cream's going to get to you?
I'm a little bit lactose intolerant. What may happen in the third quarter?
Poor Pete. I bet. So did Pete sleep on the plane?
Pete was crop dusted at one point going over Iowa. Going to Iowa. It was hysterical. I get this tap on the shoulder. It's Mute from behind me, our sideline reporter.
Yes.
Sitting with Chach. And they're like looking at me with like this angry look. I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, Pete's sleeping next to me. We're going to Stanford. And they're like, do you smell that? I'm like, and then I hit it. Then it hit me. And I'm like, it wasn't me. I would have definitely said that was me because it was powerful. I said, it's got to be Cronin. He was crop dusting over Iowa.
And we were snoring and sleeping, and he didn't even realize it.
Yeah, they're like, they're angry. I'm like, dude, it wasn't me. It clearly was Cronin who has this. There's a knack for these noxious fumes.
You must have been like, to get off that plane, in the back of the plane, there's like 70 kids on the plane, the coaching staff, equipment people. You must have been like, please. I don't know how. I would have had a few vodka sodas and maybe tried to pass out.
I did watch. I mean, how many movies can you watch in 6 hours? I actually read the book you need to read, Pete, is American Kings by Seth Wickersham.
Oh, okay. I love his stuff. Well, actually, I love his stuff when he's not writing about the Patriots.
Yeah, no, I know. You didn't love the Patriots book, but this book's really good about quarterbacks. Oh, cool. I'll have to. I will absolutely have to check that out. A couple more minutes here with John Meter Perella, still getting over jet lag from last. It's a good thing there was no game this week, right? I mean, good thing. Absolutely, we'd still be the best. Is during the game, I kept giving time updates. I'm like, boy, never been up this late with Cronin and Mutrin. Bet they love that. Oh, How did Chach do? Steve Chach, a great producer, great friend. How did he do during all? Did he fall asleep on the plane? He almost fell asleep during the game. Like, Chuck, tell me who made that tackle. He's in the back. At one point, he's dozing off in the fourth quarter. Oh my! And he's your spotter too, right? Or do you have somebody else? Yeah, no, he spots for the opponent, and he just gave up at the end. All right, we need to turn this thing around, boys. So I mean, we kind of joke about it, but when you look at at Stanford and Cal, and you forget the thousands of miles that those two teams have to trek this year, and you just have to do it once, and look how damaged you are. Imagine those two schools are going to do it several times. Here's the number on Stanford: 25,000 miles this year. Oh my God! They're playing in 5 time zones. That's more than the circumference of the earth. And good news, which I wanted to get your thoughts on the last couple minutes here. The ACC is in on changing to its scheduling format. I heard Dan Radakovic yesterday on the ACC network, and it looks like they're going to meet on Monday in Charlotte, your old stomping grounds, and with Jim Phillips, the commissioner.
and try to get all league teams to play at least 10 games with Power 4 competition. So more traveling for Cal and Stan out of the ACC, and more traveling for you maybe as well.
You know what? Just sign me up for more beef medallions. That's all I can tell you. Bring on the Turkey Jubilee.
You gotta film some of this stuff next year, or some of these longer trips. You gotta at least give me 2 minutes of video.
Well, check out. You'll enjoy the In and Out. Steve Chachi, our producer, I take him to In and Out. I'm like, Chach, this is going to be a life-changing experience. You know, I hadn't had it in a couple of years since
I've never had In-N-Out Burger.
Oh my God, Pete, I'm telling you, it should be your first stop when you go to the West Coast.
I hear. I've been to the West Coast several times, just never got there. I had my own beef medallions at some other places.
It was like when you took me to that place in Fort Myers, the burger place, the Midwest place that you were building up for me. I forget the name.
I forget.
You know what I'm talking about? The place near the airport in Fort Myers. Not my favorite Steak and Shake, but the other one.
I forget. What did I get? Twin Peaks?
No, they're known for their shakes too. It's a Midwest. It's an Indianapolis-based place.
I don't remember taking anything place like that.
Yeah, we met a guy for lunch there. We met my buddy Roger Lockwood, whose grandson is who's with Big Cat.
Oh, was that when we went and met your aunt that time?
No, that was hilarious. My Aunt Laurie's still driving around Fort Myers.
She drove around the parking lot like 5 fucking times. John? She was a dear, though. It
was the Bell Tower shop.
Bell Tower shop. Oh,
Bell Tower.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. It was at,
custard
Jesus,
place.
What do you call it? Oh, my God. I was just there a couple weeks ago again.
Yeah, the burgers are pretty good.
Yeah, the food there is really good. The Irish place is good stuff.
But
anywho, where the hell were we?
So Chach is the only person known in America who just had a mediocre experience at In-N-Out. Like Chach, you don't like this burger, and I know it's not like life-changing necessarily, but it's a good burger. It's a little soggy. The fries aren't good enough. What's the deal with it? There's not much flavor. I'm like, that I should have filmed.
McGregor's is what I took you to. McGregor's, yeah.
No, it was another place.
Oh, no, okay, whatever. So Chach didn't like an In-N-Out Burger. The fries were soggy. Were the fries soggy?
It's like, I'm sitting there. We get there at 11 because, I said we got to beat the lunch rush.
What time do they open? 11.
They open about 10:30. The place we drove by there at midnight, going back to the airport in San Jose. There's one right next to the San Jose Earthquake Stadium, MLS team. The place, literally, they're out the door at midnight.
Oh, I believe it. Plus, for an MLS crowd, they pack their.
No, there was no MLS game.
Oh,
there was no game, and I was just random in and out, and that tells you how popular they are. But yeah, no, Chach, I'm like, Chach, you're not making this a good experience for me.
What do you complain about the burger? The bun was too squishy.
He said the flavor, it wasn't great flavor. Like, this is Five Guys is like this, or the other place too. The Shake Shack that we have.
Yeah, Steak and Shake. Yeah.
No, Shake Shack.
Shake Shack.
Not
Yeah.
Florida.
Oh, but on In-N-Out Burger, right? It's they put lettuce. Not lettuce, but they put ketchup, mustard, pickle, right, and whatever.
Yeah, it's very simple. There's only 4 things on the beauty of In-N-Out. There's 5 things on the menu. You can ask for the special menu, which all the veterans do because they have like animal style, which means they put French fries on your burger.
Not a fan of that. Never been a fan of the fries or the chips on the burger.
Neither am I. Desecrates meat.
I've
been desecrated before, but not my burger.
Joey B says, "You see that? Meter In-N-Out Burger here in Colorado. Now meter double, and a chocolate shake can't beat it.
The best. Like, I'll take you there. I'm not taking shots back."
I won't complain about the soggy fries because, quite frankly, I expect soggy fries, except for McDonald's. I don't eat fast food stuff anymore, very rarely. Although I did have a Big Mac about 2 months ago. I know like you're just craving something.
Yes.
But Big Macs aren't even Big Macs anymore. They're like Little Macs.
Yeah, it's a disappointment. I'll tell you what's still good, though. Burger King. I'm a big Burger King guy. Give me that bacon double cheese in a pinch.
I still like their chicken sandwiches once in a while. The long ones, I like them. They used to. I don't know, something about their mayonnaise and the shredded lettuce on it.
Oh yeah, there's one in Waltham, Pete. You probably went to on Moody Street.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Hey, my first apartment when I was going to Connecticut School of Broadcasting in 1987, which was in Walnut Hills at the time, but I lived in Waltham. I lived right across the street. And the building I live in, by the way, got condemned 3 years after I moved out. I lived right across the street. Seriously, I lived right across. My mother after I moved in. Right, my dad, it was a studio apartment, and it's my first time away from. My mother came, and she walked in, and nearly had a nervous breakdown. She just started crying. Now I'm ecstatic because two they're great things. One, Kentucky Fried Chicken was literally from me to the end of the house. I mean, right across the street. And it was there, and I think it's still there. Diagonally across that way was Pat's Ticket Agency.
Yes.
So I would go over there and schmooze with the guy. For some reason, he took a liking to me. I told him I was going to broadcasting school. He would give me discounted Bruins and Red Sox tickets all the time. And the T was right there, the purple line. So I would go to Fenway on weekends, the 3 months that I was in school over there, or the Garden, and just have a ball. He'd give me like front row seats for like $20. It was fantastic.
I remember Pat's. And the KFC is still there.
Yes. Yeah. I know KFC. It's on Route 20. Well, basically Route 20.
Yes, correct. Going towards Watertown.
I just remember at night being my bed. There was cockroaches around at times. But then it's just like the trucks that would go by at like 50 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. And I'd be like, oh.
That's hilarious. My dad lived around the corner from me. He was in Charles Bank Estates.
Oh my God.
Right near Brandeis.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, Brandeis was right down the street.
Yeah. No, that was. I'm surprised we didn't. I was still in high school when you moved in, Pete. But I'm surprised we didn't connect.
All I did was is go to games, and I'd go to school, come home, do what I had to do, and go back to the studio and practice this, that, and the other thing. It was only about 15 minutes from where I live. Anyway, all right, Meter, what you got coming up, podcast-wise? Anything and getting ready this
I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to go watch some. My son goes to Endicott College in Beverly. I'm going to go watch the Gulls play some good D3 football.
Nice.
Yep. I've never been to a game there. I'm excited about it. Free admission. I'm a D3 football guy at heart with Ithaca College, former national champs. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to watch some college games. When I get back, I'll watch your Miami Hurricanes. And I'm going to start getting ready for Cal next Saturday at 3:30. You'll be listening. You can watch it on the ACC network.
I will.
And it's a gauntlet for BC after that.
Awesome. All right, my man. You're the best. Thanks so much. And people can check out your stuff, podcasts and stuff. John Meter Perel on your Twitter page and retweet all that stuff.
Yes, as always, Pete. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to go get some turkey jubilee for lunch.
No, get some turkey medallions.
It looked like it was like when I watched him eat it at 3 a.m. It was like watching someone eat Dinty Moore stew out of the can.
How long were those medallions sitting there on a plane, you think, before they heated them? Oh,
he was like the only taker. I'm like, Cronin will eat anything. He used to eat these burgers we had on our old flights, like back in the day, and they were literally, we called them hockey pucks.
Yeah.
He'd stack them up, and he'd eat them. Probably like some of the guys you travel with Big O. They would eat anything. He'd stack them up and just eat them. I'm like, Pete, that is not going to be good in the third quarter.
Oh my God! All right, my man, you're the best, and we'll talk next week. What day? So I don't bother you 3 times during. What day is good for you next week? Is Wednesday ever good, or is it usually Fridays now?
Fridays are usually my best day for you, Pete.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk next Friday then.
Have a good weekend. Go enjoy the U.
I will, absolutely will. There goes John Meter Perel. Rick says we're going to need a burger sponsorship. Yes, we absolutely are. All right. there goes Meter. And let me see. Let me do this real quick. And I know that Gabe Morency is supposed to be joining us momentarily as well, our great handicapper and entertainer. Great guy, the newlywed. He's outstanding. Let me see and do that. We get ready for Gabe. And we will talk some college football. His Michigan, he's going to be ecstatic because Gabe is a huge Buffalo Bills guy. He's also a huge Michigan Wolverine guy. So like Jay, he's probably expecting Michigan. I am as well. I am not a big Michigan guy. I'm neutral. But we will have the Michigan Wolverines on the road against Nebraska, and I think they're going to beat them pretty handily. Despite Nebraska's 3-0 start, the only good team they played was at Arrowhead neutral field, sort of, against Cincinnati, which they won 20-17. Then had 2 cupcake games, which I don't put any stock in at all. Anywho, let me just make sure real quick here that because Gabe usually retweets stuff, I want to make sure that because he does. He's on 7 days a week on TV doing his thing. And he takes time for this show, which is very early for him at 6:30 in the morning out there in the Vancouver area. So he'll be on with us. He's a big CFL fan, obviously, too. He's Canadian born. Big Montreal Canadian fan, unfortunately. That's his only fault that I see. Other than that, so then thanks for everybody for checking us out. Sheila coming up at the top of the hour. Here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. And I'll be joining her for a little bit today as well. I promised her. She's back from Ohio. I think she was on again last week with a guest, but she or wasn't. I forget why. Angel not there. Duncan Dad, I think, will be producing for a little bit coming up at 10 o'clock. It's 9:35. And we have to be out by like 9:55 today, so I want to get as much information out of Gabe as I can. Let me just make sure, double check on some of these messages. And hopefully, because once in a while, people will sleep through this segment. But let me see. Let me just let me text him real quick here about logging on. And we will get his thoughts again. My last week, the first week I went 13-3. Last week I went 6-10 in the NFL. I've been 2-4, 2-3. I mean, both weeks in college football. So still over 500 overall, which is good. And we look to get back on track again. If I don't go at least, 10-5 or 10-6, then next week is free, as it always is. Rick says, let's see, Joey says, 41 degrees here this morning in Colorado. Fall is coming. Oh, my God, Joey, is it snowing there yet? That's ridiculous. Rick says, heading to Buffalo tomorrow to check out the falls. Oh, Niagara Falls. Nice. That would be nice as well. All right. While we're waiting for Gabe to hopefully join us at any given moment here, let me get to some more sound that I haven't gotten to yet. Here is Cincinnati, Minnesota is an interesting game. I got the Bengals +3, but I think the Vikings are going to win by like a point. I think it's going to be an interesting game. And Carson Wentz, on being the 6th team in 6 years, has given him new perspective. Actually, we're not going to get to that right now because just like that, there he is once again, looking happy and handsome from the Vancouver, BC area. Is the one and only Gabe Morency, and you see him on TV every single night on Sports Grid, and great handicapper / entertainer. And I know, you had to stay up a little later last night to watch your Buffalo Bills. A little closer than I think a lot of people thought. Nevertheless, Miami's 0-3, like I thought they would be. But overall, quickly, your thoughts on your Buffalo Bills last night? Good game. I mean, short week, good game.
Yeah, I don't want to live in a world where you judge a football team just if they covered or not. Right? That's the world that we're caught in right now, but you've got to take that out of the equation sometimes. And just from a football perspective, a win is a win in the National Football League, and a win against a division opponent is big in the National Football League. And also, it's not a great bet to be laying double digits in the NFL on a Thursday night game.
I agree.
right? It's a short week. You get a divisional tilt. This isn't style points, not college football. Like McDermott's golf membership at the local golf club isn't getting revoked if they don't cover, right? Like it's college football. It's like, oh man, we didn't cover. Like it really is. Like to me, it's different. College, I fully judge it. Yeah, you know what? You were that many point favorites against an inferior team. NFL, hey, every game is different, but the Bills just seem to be different this year, and so far at least that they understand that every game matters, right? That last night's game is no more less important than playing the Eagles later in the year, right? A win is a win. You're trying to rack up as many wins as you possibly can.
It's more important. It's an AFC
home
opponent,
field.
and it's a divisional opponent.
Exactly.
So you can make the case it's way more important.
I think they're in a good spot, the Bills, to have the best record in the National Football League this year. Like if you look at their schedule, they basically play the same schedule as the Indiana Hoosiers do. They've got a couple of tough games, and it's kind of like, next up for the Bills, it's the Saints guys. Like if you're wondering, who do they play next? The New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
Like they play the Panthers in a couple of weeks. They got the Falcons are actually not bad, but we're still way early right now, but I feel good about this Bills team in the big picture.
All right. Before we get into, I want to get into. Let's start with college. And my buddy I have on a couple of times a week, Jay Flannelly, he's like you, is a Wolverine fan. He's got massive ties to the Wolverine program. He lives up there in Ann Arbor, and I think we feel the same way. I think Mr. Rule and his big mouth are going to get him in some serious trouble this week. I love you Wolverines to go into Nebraska and win by 10 plus. I love it. What say you about your Wolverines?
This is one of those tough games in a sense that if Michigan wins, they're supposed to, right? And everyone's going to shrug their shoulders and say, well, you're supposed to beat Nebraska. Yeah, for Nebraska, this is, have they turned the corner type of game. I think it would surprise people, at least some people, to realize that Matt Rule is 2-19 in his coaching career against ranked opponents.
Yeah,
2-19, 0-17 at Baylor and at Nebraska combined.
You say he's consistent.
Yeah, so like the only two times he's ever beaten a ranked opponent, Matt Rule, he was at Temple. That was a long time ago. And speaking of the NFL, I don't remember beating a lot of ranked opponents in the NFL either, right? Like, so let's see. I mean, this would be a bad loss for the Michigan program. I mean, you can't go on the internet and not go like 5 minutes without seeing Michigan boast about another recruit they got, right? Oh, look at this, Michigan. Okay, you got to win games. No shame in losing Oklahoma on the road, Underwood's first road start. This is a real test here, but I expect Michigan to be able to get it done. Listen, Raiola's got like 8 touchdown passes, no interceptions this year, but
against nobody. Okay, Cincinnati and
Christian. Yeah, like they're
the last team they played. I never heard of them. The basketball team I heard. I mean, come on, Houston Christian, Jackrabbits, whatever the fuck they are. I don't put any stock in the 2 wins after Cincinnati. Neutral field at Arrowhead.
The Cincinnati game, they weren't great either. Like Cincinnati could have won the game late, right? Nebraska had a hard time pulling away. It's another thing too. Matt Rule is like 4-10 in 1-score games. So if it's a close game, he doesn't win. If it's against a ranked opponent, he generally doesn't win. It's going to be rocking in that stadium. But I think it's a big deal now for Underwood that he got the road game out of the way, right? They went to Norman. It was Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska's a tough place to play, but this is Saturday afternoon. Big Ten, more familiar, surroundings. I'll be very upset and concerned if Michigan doesn't win this game. Like Michigan's season's on the line, right? 10-2 will get Michigan to the playoffs. 9-3 will not. Like they don't have room for much more errors. They can lose one more game this year, Michigan only.
All right, let's a little bit tonight. You got a couple of games. I had a teaser. I had Buffalo and Rice in a teaser last night because I hate the double-digit lines. So I said, okay, I'll get Buffalo -5.5, and I'll get Rice +3. So it ended up working out okay, even though they didn't know a whole hell of a lot about Rice. Tried to do a little research, listen to you, anything else. But tonight, I need Oklahoma State and Iowa to win in my little parlay with Rice. So, I mean, just to win the game, not cover. But Iowa usually has Rutgers' number. They play them very, very tough. They're a 2.5-point favorite on the road. And Oklahoma State is a 10.5-point favorite tonight against Tulsa. And any thoughts on either of those games?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Rutgers game tonight. I've bet Rutgers 3 years in a row over 5.5 wins with Shiano here. 2 years in a row, it's won. We're off and running with a 3-0 start here. Now it sort of gets realer. As you stated, they haven't beaten Iowa before, but they've only played 4 times. And, they don't play every year, but they kind of play almost every year type of deal. But so, yeah, I was 4-0 against them. This is a different Rutgers team. One thing with this, we got to ride the wave here, guys. It's been 3 football games. All 3 Rutgers games have gone over the number. 2 of the 3 Rutgers games, Rutgers have scored what the total was on their own. The Kalaniaknakness, this offense is actually clicking. Like, in the past, you think Rutgers have a good defense. Their offense is mediocre, and they'll battle. It's a little bit different this year. Their offense is good. Their offense has been getting carved up, which would be a little bit of concern tonight just because teams from the MAC, move the ball on Rutgers to start the season. But Rutgers have outscored them. Massive game in Piscataway tonight. I get the feeling there's going to be the upset. The Rutgers finally gets it done tonight. Mm-hmm. And listen, I know Rutgers, they're missing an offensive lineman. Keep your eye on. There's a wide receiver that could be out, the smart kid. They do have some injuries, Rutgers, but it's not overwhelming. It's like, all right, they're missing one guy here and a guy there and stuff. Gronowski, this kid that came over from South Dakota, it's the same old Iowa offense, Pete. Yeah. Nothing ever changes, no matter who the quarterback is. The coordinator, this and that. I'm going to call the upset that said Rutgers actually do get it done tonight. Give me Rutgers and the over. And, Gundy, this could be the last one for Gundy, Pete.
Yes.
In the
it's
sense
not looking good. But
I'm not talking about last year. This would be his last game
that
they could actually beat someone. I'm not saying, they might not, they'll win some games maybe down a year, as the year goes on. But conference play is going to start for them. They're going to be outmatched by a lot of teams. This is an opportunity for Gundy to be Tulsa one last time. But you'll notice, man, people aren't buying in. This number is plummeting. Just every day, it just gets lower and lower because no one trusts the Cowboys. But I would expect the Cowboys to win the game, but I'm not laying the points with them.
All right, a couple other matchups in college football before we get to the NFL, because today we have to be out by 9:57, even though we always seem to go up. But I just love talking to you. Some of the bigger matchups, are you looking at the Auburn, Oklahomas or the Illinois, Indiana type of games, or are there better games to put some shekels on?
No, you know what? I prefer the more high. I know people talk about college. Oh, you like the lower profile stuff. Lower profile stuff often means crappier profile stuff. Right, so I know I'm not adverse to it, but if I don't have to bet, LB, listen, we won last night. I was on Rice in the over, and I'm glad that I was, but I probably wouldn't have bet that game if it was a Saturday afternoon game, right? I'd be like, I don't want to, I don't trust Rice enough to be betting them on the road, but it was the Thursday night game, and this option attack in Charlotte are that bad, and not to mention Charlotte's quarterback did get hurt last night, but man, Oklahoma looked really, really good against Michigan. But we've seen Auburn are battle tested this year. They've gone on the road. We've seen them trade points with Baylor. They're able to put points up on the board. You've got a quarterback. Everyone talks about Mateer. Well, you don't think Jackson Arnold wants this game badly?
Oh, God. There's so much revenge.
They threw him under the bus, big time.
Yes,
normally, guys in college, when you get these games, the revenge games, it's normally more the revenge game for the team that the quarterback left. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's the QB screwed us. He knows the other team is better. We're taking it personal. This was different. This was a case of which we don't want you, right? It was almost like a pro team cutting him. Basically, they love Jackson Arnold. They were so happy they got him, and they weren't very patient with him, bro. They gave him a couple of games. They really threw Jackson Arnold on the bus very quickly in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yep.
And now this kid's balling right now for Auburn. Getting a full touchdown, I don't see I don't see the distance here. I know they beat Michigan. All right, fine. That was an 18-year-old kid's first game. This isn't Arnold's first game. I think Auburn are the play plus the 7. I think Illinois plus the points is the play here, but I do think the Mendoza's the real deal. But that game's going to be a track meet. You know what I mean? We don't always have to pick a side there. I think there will be points in the Illinois and the Indiana game.
Now, I feel the same way about Utah and Texas Tech. I think that's one of my 5 plays that I do before you come on in college, and I like over 56. Is it over 56.5? Where is it? Over 56.5. I think that's going to be a track meet too. But the only thing that concerns me there, as you know, 10 o'clock in the morning local time out there. Not 11 local time, but 10. That can screw you up, right?
Yeah, we're going to find out. I mean, it's going to screw the bettors up, like in a sense that they're going to talk about. I don't want to make too much of it. Which team is going to, you almost feel it's advantage home team in this spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're Texas Tech, you're on the road. Suddenly your pregame routine is going to be at 7 in the morning, 6:30, 8, etc. So it is kind of awkward. But I think Utah are for real. I buy into Texas Tech. I was on them. I've been laying the points with them to start the year, Pete. But I think the Utah's physicality, the ground game, Dan Pierre will make enough plays with his legs on the ground that Utah win a big time early home game in Big 12 play. But doesn't mean we can hand Utah the conference yet, because this conference is crazy, man. Almost anybody could beat anybody.
Oh, I'm with you. And by the way, I hear you turned down the head coaching position at UCLA. But
no, that's not true. I will take it if they offer it.
All right, let's shift over to the NFL, which I think is another interesting week. And then let's right away. Do you look at the battle of the backups between Carson Wentz and Browning going at it with the Vikings and the Bengals? And Bengals are 2-0. Browning did look good last week despite the pick. Is that a game you touch, or is that just like I'll go back and watch that one?
This one you probably shouldn't, but I'm kind of fascinated by this and its strangeness. So you got Carson Wentz, who grew up a Viking fan, now the quarterback of the Vikings, against a Bengal team that people kind of wrote off coming into the year. Okay, whatever. They're going to be okay. We knew the Bengals. It's ironic the Bengals wanted to win early and they took for the preseason. You believe that? Like, they played Joe Burrow in the preseason and he ends up getting hurt like early in the regular season. So you can't predict the future with this stuff.
He's cursed. I hate to. I mean, I have Andrew Luck thoughts about Burrow.
Yeah,
it's so sad. He just can't catch a break.
Yeah, I guess you could argue at least he's made it to a Super Bowl. He's had a bigger run than Luck did, but you can't help but think of the comparisons. But with all that being stated, I don't mind Browning. I think the Cincinnati Bengals, it's not as big of a drop off as people think. In the sense that they're not a great deal, like as far as their whole football team is concerned. It's like, all right, let's say, Joe Burrow can score 30 points. All right, Browning can give us 26 type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many possessions different is it really? Browning went 4-3 as a starter a couple of years ago. And anyone, it's funny. I remember talking about it in the preseason this year and saying, you know what, he's a good backup. Like, they don't have to change their offense. And, you got Carson Wentz, who's been a punchline to some. I'm not going to disrespect him, but he hasn't played a game in a couple of years. And say what you will about J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. struggled again on Sunday.
Yes, he did.
God, that offensive line was bad, though.
Yeah.
Like, and J.J. was running for his life. They could get Carson killed back there. You don't have Aaron Jones. You don't have Addison now. That Viking offensive line is just really, really bad. I like the Bengals plus the points here.
Yeah, I'm with you. Another interesting game, I think, is Houston at the Jaguars, and the Texans are 0-2. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to start. Who has a better chance to start the season 0-3, the Texans or the Chiefs?
Man, I actually think the Chiefs could lose this game Sunday. The Texans and the Jaguars, a toss-up. 0-3 wouldn't completely bury them because of the division that they're in. I know you only have a 12% chance of making the playoffs when you're 0-2, let alone 0-3. I mean, if the Colts win again this week, then that sort of starts to become interesting. If the Texans don't, complete toss-up, I kind of lean Jags. I don't like what I'm seeing from this Texan offense right now. It doesn't, I don't love the Jags in this game. Here's an upset special, although it's not really a super hot take. They're only getting 3 points. They are plus 160 on the money line, but I think the LA Rams are going to beat the Eagles outright.
I'm with you on this one. Now, what's going to be interesting is we all know what happened 2 days ago. The NFL sends out videotape and everything else. The tush-push, I said it to a buddy of mine earlier today. I said it's going to be like the bat signal. The tush-push bat signal is going to be up, and all eyes are going to be on this game, whether it's false starts or encroachment or defensive offsides. Not just in that game, but the whole league. But it is going to be really, really interesting I can't wait to watch that game, or parts of it anyway, while I'm watching my Patriots beat up on the Steelers. But back to Ramsey, I'm with you. I love the Rams are my Super Bowl pick along with the Ravens to get there, and I hope your Bills get there. But the Rams are my Super Bowl pick to get there from the NFC. But how interested are you going to be to see this, and how monitored the tush push is going to be?
Well, obviously, it's a topic of conversation. I don't really. If you don't like it, stop it. Right? And if you don't like it, and if it's put it this way, if you don't like it, stop it. And if it's so illegal and unstoppable, then copy it. How come nobody's copied it? They can't do it. Right? It's not as easy as people think. Just point blank.
Yeah, but you know what, Gabe? The Eagles do it at a 96% success rate, but it's not like the NFL. The rest of the league is like at 22%. The rest of the league is like at 74.4%. It's not like they're not doing it. They just maybe the Eagles do it a little bit more and a little more success. That'd be one thing if the league would had it at 25%.
Then what are people complaining about then?
Well, they're complaining about because there's clearly penalties should be called between encroachment.
You can argue their formation. I mean, they did appear to be offside last week. I'm not going to dispute that, but I can't see Chiefs wide receivers line up offside all the time too.
Well, yeah, the Eagles. We heard Dean Blandino come out last week, and he was on Dan Patrick. And just say, the refs can't. There's too much going on here. It's almost like you could throw a flag for holding all the time, but it's gotten a tad out of hand. It only passed by 2 votes this season as it is. But
I'm not a massive fan of it, but I don't cry about it. The problem is in football, they've let it become rugby. They used to call plays dead in these scrums. I have a bigger problem with how they just let old linemen push piles down the field now, than I do this little tush push thing. But with all that being stated, the Eagles are beat up right now. They're only throwing for like 111 yards a game. Their offense is very primitive. They almost are like a little mini rugby team. This is a good spot for them finally to get knocked off. They haven't lost in a while. The playoff run into the Super Bowl, and all these runs come to an end, and it kind of feels like this is it. You're only getting 3 here, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs pulled out a close win on Sunday night, but there's no way in hell I would lay 6 with this team right now.
No, I'm with you. Gabe, a couple more things. I'm a big believer in your other Michigan guy, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. I think this is the year they're finally going to get it going on. They're 3-point favorites at home against the Denver Broncos, and Denver's looked, better than okay. But I mean, they're all right at 1-1. The Chargers are 2-0. It feels, I don't know, it's early on, but this Charger team feels different to me.
Yeah, there seems to be a different edge to the Chargers. I think it's Herbert. Like Herbert running the football. Herbert just with a more intensity with them. It's year 2 of Harbaugh's program here, so he's starting to get some more of his guys in here. But this is a tricky, trappy type game, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got a desperate Denver team that understands how important this game is. The Chargers could, basically almost win this division, man, with, the 3rd division win in a row here to start the year. You got a short week coming off a late Monday night game. To me, this is a trap for the Chargers. And I like the Chargers on Monday against the Raiders, but to me, this is a trap, Pete. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver beat them.
All right. Anything else? The other one, that's Cowboys Bears. I gotta like the over in that game, 50.5. I mean, but Dallas' defense is so bad. We know they can put up points, and maybe this is Ben Johnson finally gets Caleb Williams going because Dallas' D. I don't think is anything special right now. But what say you about that one?
I think Dallas are going to beat them. It's more of the same for the Chicago Bears. And you mentioned the Patriots. Big game for the Patriots season win total, and big game for the Steelers move forward. But you look at the Patriots, man, they lose to the Raiders. The Dolphins, they were lucky to win that game against the Dolphins. You have to wonder what that Pittsburgh passing attack is going to do to them. A lot of people I talk to think this game is going to be a shootout track meet, Pete, as crazy as it sounds. Pittsburgh
I think the Patriots play a touchdown. Look, they scored on 6 of 8 drives. I know the special teams, and I know, Tua, but he's 0-3 now against Mike Vrabel coach T. And Drake May had his breakout game. I mean, that's the best game he was.
Pittsburgh's going to beat him.
That's where I'm going. Game plan by Josh McDaniel. And I don't trust Flaky Boy for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Should be a lot of fun. Anyway, but you're right as far as the win total goes. Huge game for the Patriots. All right, Gabe. What's your schedule like? Thank you again so much. You're on 7 days a week and at night.
We'll be on tonight at 8:00 Eastern time.
All right, and you'll be doing your live betting segments and a few games to be going to watch tonight.
Yeah, we'll be on live with the Rutgers Iowa game and. We had a fun CFL game. Take the over in the Calgary BC game tonight in the CFL.
Awesome, Gabe. You're the best.
And the Phoenix Mercury will beat the Liberty tonight.
Oh, is the WNBA playoffs going on? I forget, but there was money to be made.
Oh, they're crazy. These playoffs are nuts, man. There's been some wild endings to these games.
I saw without Caitlin Clark, her team doing 7-0 run at the end of the game last night, something like that, whatever it was.
Yeah, all the talk about Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark. All right, the Indiana Fever just won a playoff series without Caitlin Clark. Like, they lost with her last year. They've gone further without her. Like, it's Caitlin Clark's the whole league. Wow, the league seems to be playing still, even though she's injured.
Mm-hmm. Gabe, you're the best. Thanks so much, and we'll talk soon. And I'll be retweeting your stuff later on today and tomorrow and Sunday.
All right, have a good one, Pete.
All right, take care. All right, everybody, there he is, Gabe Morency, and that is going to basically do it for the show today. Sheila's coming up. I'm going to be hanging out with her for just a little bit as well. I wanted to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Gabe Morency from Sports Grid, Sports Rage and Sports Grid, John Meter-Perrell, BC Football and ACC Network play-by-play voice, Mick Colagio, our NHL insider, Jay Flanley from Beesville up in Ann Arbor. Thanks to everybody. Hang in there. Sheila coming up next. I might be with her for at least a half an hour. And God only knows what that conversation is going to be like. Anyway, thanks everybody. We'll talk soon. See ya.